worst graphics, but hey, they got the job done.
Wait, they're all canon?
Talking about the clues inside of
What? Wait. Whoa.
Searching for the hidden lore. They were actively making jokes
What?
about dead kids at pizzerias. Her husband's twisted
What?
history
What?
of serial murder
What?
had suddenly been reduced to a mere...
We're live now. What's up, chat?
Well, you're watching 94 videos.
Listen, we have a complete timeline. This might be a part one. We'll be taking notes the entire time.
Taking notes.
I am. I got a notepad right here.
Oh, are we gonna like review it afterwards, or are we gonna like take it? Or are we taking the notebook to the movie?
We're gonna write down all our notes just to make sure that we're up on the lore, so that we can watch it and see how accurate it is.
So we can do like a checklist.
Yeah, you're actually doing it. I thought you were joking on Twitter. Yeah, I joke on Twitter, but like
Why are you
to make it even
this, dude?
to make this
torture.
to make this even funnier, I'm actually doing it.
You can't go wrong with game theory. Come on,
you can't.
It's game theory.
It's game theory. It's just a theory.
Yeah.
A game theory. Yep. Amen, brother.
There's two people you go for Fnaf stuff, right? Markiplier and game theory. That's what we want to see. I know game theory's not in it because he seemed very pissed that he wasn't in it.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't think he's in it. Watching every Markiplier videos next. Oh my god, that would be insane. I've watched them all.
Of course you have.
I have. I watched them all in middle school.
I remember like binging them. Not Markiplier. I don't think I've watched a Markiplier video other than the is that the bite of 87?
I love Markiplier.
But
so funny.
I've watched the game theory videos. I was a little game theorist. I watched like every video.
Plus, game theory's videos are really fucking good.
Yeah, they're very well edited.
Certain people have these kind of voices, right?
Oh,
where
yeah.
it's like, it gets you into it.
Yeah. If you could kiss one of the animatronics, which one would you? Well, not Trap Guy.
Which one am I gonna kiss?
What's this Trap Guy's name?
Trap Guy.
I don't know. Trap. Spring Trap.
It's like a heavy drug addict.
It's a trap. Probably Freddy from specifically Security Breach or the Moon.
No. I got like here's something. You know. This has to be like a fan favorite right here.
This one.
Yeah.
Hold up. Wait for it to load. Chat, just so you know.
Bro, okay. No, that's weird. That's really weird.
Oh yeah, this is weird. This is Reddit. That's a link from Reddit. So of course it's
especially
weird.
this. What is this? What's going on there? What is this?
Why does she have abs?
What? This is Rip Chica.
Buff Chica. We have this one. Kiss this one. This one.
I feel like they'll I feel like they'll shred my face off.
It's like the alien from Aliens, the Xenomorph. Yeah.
Well, this one doesn't have that much teeth, so I don't feel like it'll rush. That one, no, that one will shred my face off. That one doesn't have much teeth.
Oh, isn't there lore behind the beak and how it's not there?
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, there's two timelines, right?
I do. I have no clue. This thing changes every game. I have no clue.
It's not that loud? Okay, good. I didn't want to like type and have it just be like.
That's what happens in all my videos. But whoa,
Okay. Goodbye. A fight has broken out on early screenings of Five Nights at Freddy's movie. What are they arguing over? Whose theory's right?
One of them's like, yeah, game theory's kind of shit.
So they're fighting over which theory is wrong or right.
Or probably one of them was like, damn, I'm glad those children died.
True.
Starts whooping her.
For real.
Or maybe, unless it's the theory's right of all those memes where they're like, oh damn, this has been truly a Five Nights at Freddy's.
True. This has been a 5 nights.
Dude, I swear, if something like that corny like that happens, that's gonna happen.
I look forward to the media prequel, Five Nights at Frederick's.
Imagine being called Frederick.
Frederick.
I'd change my name legally. I would never tell people that. I've watched all the prior game theory videos, but I haven't seen this in particular.
You haven't seen the ultimate timeline?
I haven't. I've seen all the game theory videos up till the 6th game.
Alright. Well, chat, buckle up. We're watching game theory. It's muted.
Hello, Internet.
Welcome to Game Theory.
Officially page 7 of the Fnaf timeline script. Last time we covered the origins of Freddy's. We talked about William Afton's
Are we in the first
childhood
one?
dream
Wait. I think we're in
Spoilers,
we're in the second one. We're in the second video.
Spoilers, bro. Spoilers. I gotta mute this. I made this stream demonetized so they cannot force their ads here.
Today we end the torment. 19 books, 11 games, 8 whole years, all leading to
all
this
right.
moment.
I can imagine him just in therapy, talking to his therapist about this.
The pieces are in place for us. Now all we have to do is put this story of tragedy, jealousy, and loss back together. Hello, Internet!
Welcome to Game Theory!
A show that feels like a kid revealing the class project that he's been working on all year. Except here, it's the class project that I've been working on for the past decade of my life. This one is death and revival of the Fnaf movie.
That's funny.
Oh yeah, I'm drinking a Frosty.
How old is that?
That's
not as old as that thing is it?
No, this is today. I bought this today, like
okay.
an hour ago. But this, chat, this is something you don't see on my thing. You guys make fun of me for having Funko Pops. But this is like 7 years old, probably? 5? I don't remember. But I remember I was at the park with my grandma, and she gave me money. And so I went to the vending machine, and it was like just when the named Cokes came out. And then I put the dollar in, and it gave me one with my name on it, and I'm like, I can't drink this. So I kept it, and I got another one. It's been sealed.
Bro, I feel like if I drank it now, it would take some time off my life. Probably good for
that will take 7 years off your life.
Absolutely.
The more it ages, the more it takes off.
I'll be lucky if I see 50.
I'm learning about FNAF so I can have something in common with you kids locked in my basement.
What?
Let's look at this purple guy.
The world and his eventual fall to the monsters he helped to create, only to then be reborn in a new digital form later. That's why I've decided to split this timeline into 3 main chunks.
Wait, no, that doesn't make sense.
Freddy's, how the business
Are you caught up on that?
No.
That's wild.
Era, William's decades-long murder spree, and post-Purple Guy. Basically modern FNAF. Everything that happens.
Modern FNAF.
So I imagine modern FNAF is that last video. I'm not caught up with modern FNAF at all.
Call of Duty Modern FNAF. Foundations of Freddy's. That is a crazy chapter segment. Are there chapters to this? Oh, there's not.
It was the throes of the Great Depression, and people were in desperate
need
of cheap information, especially in
It's in Utah? Oh, that makes sense.
True, they got a bunch of creepy Mormons. They'd probably build robots.
No, like this whole series isn't weird anymore. It makes sense.
Yeah,
it completely solves everything.
Completely, I understand everything now.
One animated bear drawn in the popular pie-eyed cartoon style for characters at the time. He resembled cartoons like Mickey Mouse, Felix the Cat, Betty Boop. It immediately said that this, Fredbear's, was a place where you could bring the family. And the price, honestly, couldn't be beat.
It is crazy that he was like, yeah, Freddy's origin story is during the Great Depression.
50 cents or hot dog and games and shit.
Amen, brother. Amen, brother. Nowadays,
now they tax your tax.
Nowadays, the government. The government.
You didn't hear that.
You didn't hear that.
50 cents. Watching that bear do tricks on stage brought a glimmer of joy at a time when
he's just bouncing.
I can't.
Bringing happiness to hundreds of travelers passing through looking for a quick meal, but it left a permanent impression on one little boy, capturing his imagination.
The Purple Man. He was purple. That's why they made fun of him.
Billy. That was his nickname at least. But
what?
His parents like to call him William.
This is made up, right? This can't be true.
Could sing.
Like in the actual, in like the actual lore.
When was this brought up in the lore?
I have no idea. This is all new to me.
How do you make a singing, dancing bear come to life? The best he could do was using rudimentary costumes. William was inspired by the work of Walt Disney,
poking people.
Who throughout the 50s and 60s
Disney's canon?
The use of
Disney's canon, dude.
Canon.
The big innovation: suits with 5 fingers. This allowed the performers wearing the suits to use their natural arms and hands to interact with the guests.
Oh.
Ew!
Shit. No, they're gonna copyright this. They're gonna copyright this. Get this off the screen.
Yes.
Oh, wait. Skip.
Matching tie named Bonnie the Bunny. While Fredbear was certainly his first love, Bonnie was extra special because that was his.
I didn't know we were going to this much lore.
That he had created from scratch. And I do mean...
No, I don't have premium. What do you want? I'm broke.
Hey.
You know what? It was just
hell yeah.
Bonnie
Boat
and
people
Fredbear
shit.
were fun to all the kids, delighting and inspiring them in the exact way that he had been delighted and inspired so many years ago. And things could have ended there.
By the
That
Great
could have been the
Depression
end to the
bear.
story. It could have been perfect had it not been for one thing. Other people saw
Wait, so
the success of his
Freddy
idea,
Fazbear
they wanted
and
in.
Bonnie
Enter Chica's
are
Party
lovers.
Hall, a rival restaurant starring performing
Well,
animal characters.
I don't know
His
what
idea, except they did it better.
He said it
William
earlier.
may have been the first, but obviously he wasn't the best. It hurt the pride
Oh, yeah,
of
here.
William Afton to admit
He was
it,
like,
but this restaurant
these two
was
are
able
lovers.
to do the thing that he always wanted to do.
I wonder if
Make
there's
the
Rule 37 of
animals
that.
actually come to life. All
Don't
of the
look it up,
performers
dude.
in the restaurant were robots.
No,
Simple metal
I've seen
skeletons
even
powered
Game
by
Theory's
batteries.
popped up some
All of
weird
them able to
like
fully turn
artwork that
and
people have made. It's like
dance on their
why?
own, no human required.
Like,
magic that
fan fiction or whatever, right? That's fine, but until you start making them like naked and fucking shit, dude. No.
Afton admired him. He was jealous, to be sure, but he also
Who's
looked
this
upon
guy?
This man with awe.
That's
On one
Henry.
side of Chica's
Henry.
butthole, on the other, a hippo known to ramble on and on. That one was more of a joke for the parents, but it was the main stage that was for the kids.
What?
A rocking band of characters featuring a yellow chicken.
Oh, he's adding in what
all named
every
Chica,
book
backed
comes
by a
from.
band of other
Oh,
country-themed
of course.
characters.
So that's probably where he's getting this from then. I don't have
That's
that.
where he got the Great Depression lore.
I haven't read the
With a
books yet.
heavy Southern accent. Wait, a bear? But bears were his animals.
A
Why not
bear?
A cow or a horse, something to fit the country theme a bit better.
Damn, my
Why did it
man
have to be
really-
a bear. And adding insult to injury, they had the nerve to call this thing Ned Bear, a direct copy of his own Fred Bear.
How dare thee?
No, that was not okay.
This is
Afton's
crazy.
Jealous admiration turned to hardened
Why'd this become an anime
bitterness.
cutscene? Of like a video game.
Families continued to choose Chica's party world over Fredbear, only to get bailed out by, of course, Henry Emily. Another insult, another humiliation that William wouldn't soon forget. 1979. Despite being bitter, Afton couldn't
It was
deny
from
that
that
what
book.
came next
Or
was
that
a
video?
period of massive success and expansion. With the two franchises now merged into one, would eventually come to feature a mix of humans in performing suits as well as on-stage animatronics. They decided to stick with Fredbear as the headliner, considering the yellow bear was easily identifiable as a brand and because he was the original performing animal mascot. Afton
Man, Wendy's
This
fries
new
are
restaurant
really
would also see
salty.
a mix of characters as the two
I dropped the
franchises
fry.
merged
It's
into
gone.
one, with Pig
You had a
Patch,
chance to
Happy
save it.
Frog,
I watched that
right
slow
alongside
death.
Fredbear and
You had a
Bonnie.
chance to save it, you
And
didn't
as part of
save
this
it.
one
I
big
did.
Fredbear family, they even got themselves official merch that released, ranging from masks.
Oh, so yeah, it
to
refers
magnets.
back to his videos and whatever where he gets it from.
That said, not
I
all
didn't
the
know these were
characters
canon,
were
like the new ones. I didn't think they were canon.
Wait, the new ones are canon?
I guess
That's
what
crazy.
they're saying.
Storage units and retro budget tech stores of lost nostalgia, waiting for
Oh
their
god,
chance to
that's
step back
the one
into
FNAF game I
world
didn't
if and when a
finish. The
headliner
6th one. I
would
got so
finish.
mad at that
Others,
game,
though,
dude.
would fare much better, like a new Pirate Fox, as well as a
Arrgh.
guitar-playing variant of the Yellow Bonnie Bunny. Ultimately, the franchise would get so big it would spawn its own cartoon show, Fredbear and Friends. Business was booming. In the end, Fredbear and Bonnie's
Make it rain,
popularity
baby.
was so strong that they would be able to support the Fredbear's Family Diner franchise all on their own, while also spinning off a new sister location dedicated to their friends. In 1983, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza launched, giving a dedicated home to all
Okay,
this
so we're into
supporting cast
the
of
lore.
characters. Chica the Chicken, Bonnie the Blue Bunny,
Hey.
Foxy the Pop.
Sam Montgomery, thank you for the $2 or the £2. I forgot you're British.
What is 2 pounds?
£2?
Is that $4?
No, it's like the opposite. It's like $1.50.
Oh.
No. Yes.
Yeah, because our currency's more.
No, our currency's less.
No, it should be more, right? Because
No, it is
like
more.
it should be. Wait, let me look it up.
For alleged influence of early Disney, there's an awful lack of anti-Semitism. That's true, because Walt Disney didn't like a certain group of people. Oh, it's 243. Someone did the conversion.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing math.
I
Your
was about to
currency
say
is
that,
less.
and then I got thrown off by the
True.
anti-Semitism.
That's the only thing British people beat us by.
Afton was happy, mostly. It did bother him that the one original character that he created, the one that he himself played, Golden Bonnie, got passed over for inclusion in that cartoon show. The only character in the roster of regulars to get ignored for the show, but other than that, things were going smoothly. He had himself a wife, 2 sons, a daughter,
purple
he had a
wife!
thriving business, and best
He got
of
a
all,
purple
was able to
wife.
learn
He
the
dyed
craft
the
of
woman purple.
Loved and hated Henry. Together, they were constantly pushing the limits of.
Also,
what
he
those
had a
characters
kid?
could
Is
do.
the
Because it was
kid
quick and
the,
easy, new characters introduced into the roster would begin
child
a
of
simple
the
hand-sewn
Bite of
suit with
87?
5 fingers that any
is it a
performer could
different
wear.
kid?
Eventually, Henry would design one
I
of
don't
the
know what the Bite of
signature
87
animatronics for that
entirely
character,
is.
utilizing a divided
All I
wall
know
with
is
either a hinged or
Markiplier.
sliding jaw
The
design.
Bite of 87?
This
Is that the
was
Bite of
first
87?
animatronic. What if his mascot suits could become animatronics? What if you could use more than just rigid metallic skeletons? Why not experiment with tubes and wires that would give the animatronics fluidity and flexibility while still providing structure? The possibilities for this technology were endless. Afton fell in love with robotics. He had started with a dream of bringing one simple singing bear to life, but with robots, he had stumbled across the tools that gave him the ability to control life itself. And thanks to Henry, he was practically speedrunning his way to an engineering degree. And while William wouldn't admit it out loud, one other thing that kept pushing him
Shut up,
forward was the
Reese's.
desire to beat his former rival.
What
to
happened?
prove himself
Oh, they're
smarter
rivals.
and more capable.
I'm
To
with
surpass the man
stupid.
who everyone else else considered to be a visionary genius. But pride cometh before the fall, and tragedy was about to strike. Okay, so that brings us to the end of part 1.
Who is his writer?
That said, at the end of each of these chunks, I want
Does
to
he
break
write
down
his
some of the
stuff?
logical leaps
Who,
that I made,
him?
since
Yeah.
the more narrative
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
format
Game
doesn't
Theory
give much
writes
of
his
a
own
That's
chance to
crazy.
justify a lot of the big decisions. And admittedly, there are
He's
some
making it so
large
dramatic.
reasons.
Which makes sense. It's, I mean, Game Theory,
Oh,
this is
yeah.
Game Theory's channel. I mean, it would make sense that he writes his own scripts.
That at least at one point, Fredbear was an actual bear. And like I called out in that narrative segment, dancing bear shows were a real form of entertainment. The only
That's true.
problem
We
is
should
that
go see one.
timing-wise, none of our main
Yeah.
best case scenario, if Afton's running the singing show when he's 18, that
Alright,
still
we're back
puts
on.
him at nearly 70 when the first pizzeria opens and his murder
So,
spree
does that
ends.
mean-
It just
yeah,
doesn't
let's
make
say-
a lot of logical
Oh,
sense because
okay.
he doesn't become
Yeah.
immortal until
We
his
got
first death
7
in
minutes
Springtrap.
more.
That's
Wait,
why
immortal?
I suspect that Fredbear's
He's
show was
immortal?
either
Yeah, I
a
guess
family
technically.
business that Afton then carried on to a new generation, or something that he saw as a kid and just wanted to recreate when he grew up. The Fredbear Sing and Show thing also starts laying the groundwork for some of the core elements of the story. That Freddy's was a place of fantasy and fun, and that Afton, despite eventually falling to become the heartless serial killer and mad scientist that we know him as, began as someone with good intentions and a love of entertaining kids.
Okay, I mean, I don't think there's really a if once once you're a serial killer,
Yeah.
always been a serial
It's
killer.
not like I'm looking at Jeffrey Dahmer and I'm just like, oh, but he's so.
I'm a serial killer now,
Yeah, but
guys.
he was innocent once.
Everything. It even has 5 fingers for the performer's hand. Digital consciousness in that form. It's his personal avatar.
Put his digital
the way that he
consciousness in-
sees himself.
okay.
There's also a whole separate discussion to be had here about the habits
This is
and rituals
crazy.
of serial killers. So the fact that he's choosing to lure kids and kill them in this particular suit actually says a lot about his emotional attachment to it. So while Fredbear seems to have started as someone else's creation, Golden Bonnie was uniquely Williams, giving him a personal connection. And that's not
Okay.
all. In this whole franchise, only one set of characters
Why'd
have
they put a heart
themselves
behind
5
him and the
fingers,
robot?
the Nightmare.
He loves his
Even
robot.
Golden Freddy,
He loves his
Fredbear was a
robot.
5-fingered wearable suit at one
Okay,
point.
can you
So
stop
he
bringing
has
up the 5
specifically shot
fingers?
before he
They're really
went
weird, man.
into an animatronic. This seems to imply that all of the main characters had similar wearable mascot outfits at least at one point in time, and that whoever is having the FNAF 4
Okay.
nightmares, if they even are nightmares, something that we'll touch on in part 2, saw those mascot suits specifically. Lastly, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. The literal elephant, Orville Elephant.
I
as well as
get
the
it.
rest of the mediocre melodies.
He said
For a
elephant in
while
the
now,
room,
I've suspected
and
that
there's
the
an
mediocre melodies
elephant.
played a much more
I
important
don't.
role in the story than just being a bunch
I don't
more
either.
animatronics to fill out the roster. Especially Ned Bear, which is just so suspiciously close to Fred Bear. And yet, there are 2 key
They're gonna
details
kill
that we're gonna
Ned
have to
Bear.
justify with any mediocre melodies mention. One, they're very
They're gonna
rudimentary
shoot him in the head with a
battery
shotgun.
packs, implying that they come
What?
very early in the timeline. And 2, we know that at minimum, Mr. Hippo does eventually become an official member of the extended Freddyverse. But if these things are supposed to be cheap, generic ripoffs, why would you be trying to
The
rip off yourself?
Freddyverse?
He said the
Bro.
Freddyverse, bro.
Someone else's idea.
That's
Bro.
nuts.
So if Afton created Fredbear, there would have to be some rival franchise. The only other person who would likely be ripping him off, Henry. We've talked extensively about how the media
Ah, yes, we've talked.
clearly Henry's design aesthetic. So it just has to be him. I don't think Henry's
Whoa.
doing this maliciously.
The
He doesn't
robot
strike
without
me as the type.
clothes.
He was likely building the robots at the orders
So,
of someone else that was
okay.
running a rival restaurant franchise.
Are we both confused?
Start Afton down a path of jealous rivalry, but also begrudging admiration. As the Freddy Files Ultimate Edition says, it's important to revisit
Ah, the
beginning
book.
of Henry and William's relationship, so here you go. I think this is where it begins. Also, this is future Matt Pat here coming back to add this one in. Seems like the recently released character encyclopedia has backed up all of this speculation. I've had this timeline written for about a month now, but I've also been holding off a bit to see what wrenches this character encyclopedia might throw into it. And on this particular point, I gotta say, it seems like we might actually have nailed it. They actively call out the suspicious similarities to
He was right.
Bear
W.
quote, Ned Bear
He was so proud of himself, dude.
Yeah, he was like, I got it right, baby.
That's really the only way that you get Mr. Hippo from the rival franchise.
Mr.
part
Hippo.
of the Fazbear crew. This also mirrors a lot of what happened in the real-life history of Chuck E. Cheese, with 2 rival restaurants, each with their own casts of characters merging to become one
Why does it
unified
look like a
brand. Again, we've
Smash
gone into
Bros.
that fairly
playlist, like, of
stereotypical
characters?
But why would I call out the rival restaurant as being named Chica's Party World? Few things, actually. First, we know for a
Okay.
fact that a location named Chica's Party World exists. exists. It is mentioned in the source code teasing sister location. So it is out there somewhere.
I like
and
sister
doesn't fit
location.
Carver. Chica is very explicitly looped in with the book versions of Pig Patch and Ned Bear, implying that
Pig
she
Patch.
started as a mediocre melody. Thirdly, her design just
Pig
fits better
Patch.
with the theme of down-home country animals with southern accents playing the banjo and eating with bibs.
Amen, brother.
Headliner of
His
the show
southern
and
accent
the
is
restaurant,
terrible.
It would make sense then that when the restaurant
He tried.
merged,
He can't do
was
it.
the
He tried.
one
Hey, you
that
know
added
what?
to
We
the
gotta give him credit. He at
did
least gave it
try.
a shot.
Another W for
It's also
Game
why we
Theory.
back off into her old franchise and is therefore missing in sister location. A detail that's bothered me for years at this point. It might also explain why William decided to stuff his first dead kid
What?
into Chica.
What?
You didn't know that?
No!
That's like the whole story of why the animatronics are alive. Because he kills the kids and puts them in the suits. And like their souls take over it, basically.
What? That's crazy.
That's why they're alive.
I love
So
FNAF.
with all of that in mind, my friends, we can close the book on the foundation of Freddy's. And don't worry,
Okay.
next week I'll be back to give you arguably one of the most confusing parts of this entire timeline situation. Part 2, the Afton era.
Okay.
I promise
The most
it's no
confusing?
accident.
I'm already
There's
confused.
No more waiting around. I am just as eager to get this one out the door as you are to.
Okay, so we're in an actual timeline
You know what
now?
else I promise?
I don't know.
I promise that we'll actually get to talking about the games. I would have liked to have talked about
Okay.
it in this episode, but there just isn't that much in the games that helps us depict anything pre-Family Diner.
Okay, we
Although,
might as well
to be
just skip
honest,
the
this
next one.
franchise-
So that just gave us lore on lore.
That was just expo dump.
That's just before the lore even gets started.
Yeah.
That's insane. Am I confused?
Yeah.
A little bit.
You know more than me.
Yeah, but he has not done all that yet in all the videos I watched. So I I don't know. It looks like from the trailers, I don't even know if they're gonna even touch any of that.
No.
Cause you know who Springtrap is, right?
Yeah?
Who is he?
I remember him, but I don't remember him.
Do you know who it is? Though?
He's yellow. The original
It's purple
Fred
guy.
Bear. Purple. Yes, that's right.
Purple guy is
He's purple
Springtrap.
guy. Yes.
So like at the end when you see in that trailer where he brings out the knife, that's purple guy.
Finally on break. I'm glad you're using your break to watch us break down FNAF lore.
That's literally the only thing is break for breakdown of FNAF lore.
So we have the Great
completely
Depression.
understandable.
We have dead children in suits. I'm not right.
And I imagine we're going to the dead children in suits in this one now.
Okay.
I
yeah.
feel like I did not expect that whole first part because that's all new to me.
I'm gonna buy YouTube Premium real quick. 2-month free trial.
Yeah.
W. That's 2 months to watch FNAF lore.
I don't understand jack about FNAF. Look, I mean, to understand FNAF, I think you had to be there when it was such at its height.
It is. It definitely is something that you have to be there.
You had to have been there when this was all coming out.
You just had to be there.
Because just seeing it afterwards, it's like, what is this? But like, when you were actually there watching this all happen,
Yeah.
it hit different. That's how I see it as. Because we remember the middle school times and everyone was playing FNAF. Hey guys, in the lunchroom, let's play FNAF on our phones.
Bro, everyone was playing FNAF on the iPhone, on the iPod Touch.
Dude, that was almost 10 years ago.
We're old.
Like, the first FNAF game came out in 2014. That's
2014?
Yeah.
We're old.
Yeah, we're old. We're old as hell now.
Didn't Minecraft turn 15?
It's 15 years
Yeah,
old.
it can almost drive, bro.
We would have been like 12 then. Yeah.
Yeah.
When this came out.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Holy shit.
And now we're like adults.
Now we're old men.
Yeah, we are old men. Just smoking cigars on the
We got
porch.
facial hair now.
Yep.
We got taxes now.
Taxes.
Bills.
Bills.
You know, adult life isn't that fun.
Jobs.
Yeah, jobs. Like, dude, we have to actually work for a living now. This is
Yeah.
nuts.
We can't just be on the
I
phone.
just can't beg my parents to buy me shit anymore. This sucks.
Yeah.
Welcome to Game.
Welcome to Game Theory.
Hold on, before we start, I gotta pee.
All right.
I want to hear FNAF lore. Hold on.
Okay.
I somehow managed to be hoodieless when I came back out, but that's fine.
You teleported.
Yeah, I was getting hot. I was getting heated. Shit's heating up in here with FNAF
3
lore.
hydrogen, 4 methyl, 2 3 dihydrogen, 1 H.
Are we looking how to make bombs?
Yeah.
Finding out some of this with you.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff I already knew, some of the stuff I don't. Like last video, I knew none of that shit. To be fair though, the last lore video I watched was 2017. This is 2022 now.
Oh, yeah.
Lore, so there's a big jump in time.
I want you to take some time to acquaint yourself with our newest channel. Guys, this is a huge moment for us.
We got it.
The last decade
Hold on, man. I'm trying to listen to some FNAF lore.
Bro,
We don't have time to watch this. We gotta listen to more FNAF lore.
I buy YouTube Premium and I still got this. What are we doing?
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, they just cut out SF.
It uses AI and like deletes the ad read. Oh, is this food theory?
Style theory, where we're looking at the science,
What?
math, psychology, history, and mystery of the way you look.
This is insane.
No,
You guys couldn't see it.
Hey, yo.
Hold up.
Yeah, why are we so big? Why are we so massive?
We are big.
Pause.
Theorizing about style might sound weird at first.
Chat, look, watch this. Look at the boots.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna start dressing like that.
Bro. Oh my, I can't grab anything. Okay.
Better able to achieve my true self and find my own sense of
What are we talking about?
FNAF, obviously.
Plus confidence. Anyway, now let's talk about how William Afton is absolutely dripped out in the new movie.
Can we skip this?
Principles, style. I don't know.
This is hilarious and all, but like, we are on time budget here.
That was a 2-minute ad.
1983.
Ah, okay. There we go.
Restaurant
All right, boys.
Fredbear's Family Diner and the newly opened Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Together, William and Henry had been able to take the hybrid suit idea and make it into a reality. They called their new invention the Springlock suit. And fittingly enough, it was
Is that a reference?
I think it is the spring.
designed by William that could become a
Is that Markiplier?
Henry-style robot. But
That's
because
funny.
it was the rollout was limited, restricted only to the Fredbear's Family Diner location. All of
Okay.
this meant that William was busier than ever. He didn't have time to be a full-time parent, so he designed a nanny cam system where cameras and speakers were hidden throughout the neighborhood, as well as in his youngest son's favorite
What?
toy, Psychic Friend Fredbear. I mean, plushy Fredbear. But since cameras
Oh, that's from 2.
he also left childcare to
I
What,
think.
the plushie?
Yeah.
The plushie's from 4.
4. Oh, yeah.
God, dude, 4 traumatized me so much when I was in middle school.
Yeah, because it's like in a house.
Yeah, and then it just screams in your face.
Yeah, and the kids having like PTSD.
Tomorrow was another day after all. Except Michael's torment didn't stop. Bitter, angry thoughts would run through Michael's mind. Why did he
Michael
have to be the one
Myers?
to take care of this whining crybaby all the time? It just wasn't fair. It was time that he got even with his brother by
What?
playing the ultimate prank. A prank that just so happened to be on this crying child's birthday. He and his friends would take his scared little brother and make him do the one thing he
Is
was
this a thing?
terrified of
Yeah.
doing, getting close to the animatronics. That would be a
Guys?
for the kid that was such
Is this a
terror
reference?
to him. His brother squirmed, screamed, kicked, and fought, but just as they were putting that small, squirming boy up to Fredbear's lips, the mouth snapped shut. The sensitive spring locks inside the body had been triggered by the boy's
They
movements.
show that in
They'd
the
immediately
theater.
clamped down.
Stopped.
Just
I saw a meme where it shows that at the theater screen. Everyone's like, "It's the point of 87."
Is it the vitamin 87?
Next to his hospital bed. The damage was too severe. He couldn't recover. As the younger brother's consciousness began to fade, he could hear Michael's last words, a small and flimsy apology. But his father, Williams, through the voice of the Fredbear plush, were a
What?
firm and committed promise
What?
to his dying son. You're broken. I will put you back together. This would not be the end. No matter what, Williams' son
Okay.
would live again. It would just take time.
You know what's
Time
crazy?
right now.
I don't think you've ever heard about this, but you know this is all a dream theory at one point.
The boy faded into
Oh, a dream theory, yes.
Where everyone's where it's
Yes.
like, this is all a dream.
I remember that.
kids were now
That
required
was
to wear
that I was so
security
mad when I heard that. I'm like, that's not true. That can't be. I'll be
False.
so mad.
Exit without permission would have to answer to the security puppet, a marionette on strings that could
What?
fly around on rails across the restaurant to stop
Oh,
kids
yes.
in their tracks. It was Williams' idea.
Come here.
inspired by Michael.
You didn't pay for that. He's just like floating. He's like, come here. You didn't pay for that. That glass is not free.
Buried the boy's small body in a remote location out in the woods
What?
right alongside his drive into and out of work every day. The death of this little boy sent the family spiraling. His wife, crippled with grief, was so distraught that all she could do was sit and watch TV. But his son Michael was far worse.
She's on the
Complaining
iPhone.
hallucinations of a golden bear standing outside of his window. The boy was so racked with guilt that he was convinced that he was being haunted by the ghost of his brother stuck inside the suit that took his life. As
Okay.
Since three-toed feet
Oh, yeah,
dug
'cause I
into
guess
the web
technically
earth,
FNAF
the
4
words,
is the
"It's
first
you,"
game
ringing through Michael's
in
ears.
lore
Some nights Michael
context.
would even go so far as to break out of his room to check the gravesite and ensure that his brother was still there. As for William himself, he disappeared into his work and his drinks.
Ah.
Junior's the local bar.
Amen, brother.
Gravesite. He found himself going there more and more frequently, spending
Down another one, baby.
amounts of time there. The bar
Give me a
became
tab.
place
I love these
to remember.
JPEGs.
So this turns
Glasses.
them into like, I'm gonna murder children.
Idea for an
Based.
opening restaurant. How they
My kid needs friends. Let's go murder some more.
Uh-huh.
How Henry had humiliated him by buying him out of bankruptcy. And now there was his son. Henry had taken his son from him. Robotic part was the part that failed after all. William ordered one more drink, but it was one too many. The bar turned him out and told him to go home. But William didn't go home. Drunk and angry, William raced back to the restaurant to give Henry a
What
piece
car
of
is
his mind,
this?
only to find
Purple
someone
car.
else waiting.
Ah.
Henry's daughter,
Thematic.
locked outside of the building.
Oh, yeah.
was laughing at her through the window.
What?
Fine. Some other problem.
Henry's
to
daughter
fix.
got
Then
locked
Austin
out.
got night
Oh.
beautifully awful.
Wait, what?
idea.
Oh.
Yes. This was his chance to get back at the
Yeah.
man that had humiliated him all those years ago. Henry had killed his
I'm
business.
gonna kill his
Henry's
daughter.
Yeah.
robotic suit had killed his son. It was time for William to do some killing.
This is like some Joker
Let Henry
level.
feel what it's like to have something
Not even
to
Joker,
love
like
every
Riddler
day.
from the
While parties
Batman.
continued inside the walls of the pizzeria, William attacked Charlie in the back alley. It felt good. He felt free. Years of resentment and bitterness trapped in his heart finally released in a moment of pure unapologetic evil.
What?
He would make Henry hurt like he hurts. In that moment, William
Joker laugh.
That was funny.
I'm to make him hurt like I hurt. I have zero idea what he's talking about. Listen, me neither. This is Fnaf lore, David. For the new movie Five Nights at Freddy's, otherwise known as FNAF.
forced to confront his family problems later that night.
What?
Paul was also a
He's
little
driving
excited
drunk.
by what
Yep.
he had just done. Charlie's death
Real.
would remain on the books as a random act of violence. And though Henry had suspicions about William, there was no physical evidence. Nothing that could link him back to the
Imagine being suspicious about someone killing your daughter, and then just not doing anything about it. Like, hey,
Okay.
did you just looking at him and Afton's just like, yeah.
That is because that's a crazy accusation if you say something, though.
Yeah, it is crazy to say, hey, you killed my daughter in an alleyway.
So, I mean, I can see why he wouldn't say anything.
The weeks that followed, Fredbear's Family Diner would close for good. 2 high-profile deaths around the restaurant with 2 grieving owners in such a short period of time was just too much bad press to handle. Besides, Freddy Fazbear's
Why does it
was
look like a
still
trailer
open, and
park?
it was the newer restaurant anyway.
Woo!
All the equipment from the diner,
Freddy
the
Fazbear's.
old yellow suits and security puppet would get retired to that location, and there they would sit for 2 uneventful years. The rest of 1983 and 1984 were spent quietly grieving. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza and the new
Wait, so it
cast
isn't the
characters
Bite of
were his
87.
tragic
No,
memories
that's
of their
Bite of
yellow
83.
predecessors quickly
Bite of
faded.
83.
After Henry
There's
was
2
lost,
bites.
Yep.
and work and
2
research,
nom.
reaching Henry's level of engineering, even surpassing
He's
him.
Iron
While
Man.
Henry slowed down to grieve, Afton kept going.
Plays
I guess
the clip.
technically.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Projects that were a little bit too experimental for the regular operations of the pizzeria. The first of these experimental projects was a secret workshop under his house.
Okay.
A veritable bunker, which allowed
A
him to
Batman
work while
cave.
still monitoring his kids via hidden security cameras. 1983. A passcode that served as a constant reminder of why the cameras were so important. Why he was down there in the first place. This was all to fulfill the promise that he had made to his son, right? I will put you back together. This was for him. All for him. Right? But cameras
Why do we
weren't
got
enough. He
DeviantArt
needed
on
to
the
solve
screen?
runaway Michael problem. He had to keep him in the house. He couldn't have another one of his kids wind up dead inside of an animatronic suit. So why not run a little experiment on Michael?
Oh.
See, all this work with Henry had gotten
Oh.
him to start learning more about
What?
robots, the human mind, and what a fallible machine we as humans were. Our reality is so easy to manipulate with a few sensory deceptions.
Hello.
Deceptions like sound. With just a few
Ah.
sounds, he had discovered that he could alter a person's vision. He could transform blank, smooth plastic robots into lumbering, twisted nightmares. Nightmares far scarier than he could create with actual materials. They would appear organic, rotting, putrid, terrifying. These would be his means of keeping his son Michael in the house where he belonged. Was it extreme? Maybe. But then again, this was the boy who had killed his son. He would make him sorry.
What
And
is
Michael
that?
would grow up not only deep in
Fan
the memories
art.
of his own guilt, the hospital room, the pills, the flowers, the death of his brother, but also facing literal nightmares, illusions created by sound. Michael would never forget these either. Years later, as a security guard, he would still
Humans
recall
are cringe,
pictures of
embrace
them
the
inside
robot?
of his
True.
logbook. But all of these extra projects meant that his home life suffered even more. He was an absent father and a non-existent husband, leaving his wife cold and alone.
Why do you hide inside your walls?
It's in my walls! It's in my walls! It's in my walls!
Get out of my head.
Ah!
They're in the wall.
They're in the walls!
They're in the goddamn walls.
Time and time again, he had no choice but to leave.
You burned down my house.
You call that a house? It was like a
What?
morgue. You need to see your son.
The baby isn't mine.
Well, how's this? I'm keeping the diamond ring.
And through it all, there was one
No,
feeling.
not the
William
drip.
wasn't done. He had gotten a taste of what it felt like to be unleashed, what it felt like to be free.
Unleashed.
Charlie's murder had unlocked something in him. He wanted
Okay.
Unlocked a side quest.
Side quest unlocked.
He lured children one by one to the back room of the pizzeria when no one was looking.
Okay.
At first, he was cautious. He would lure them with promises of cake and cookies. He told them that
God.
their dog had died. He would ask for help.
Yo, it's
when
Pac-Man.
they were first. Never truly forget your first. But where to hide the bodies? He couldn't sneak
Spooky.
out when someone would see him. He had to hide them in a place where they'd never be found and where they'd never leave the building. They had to be stuffed inside of the suits. No one maintained those things anyway except for him. And so Susie would go into Chica. Fritz, Jeremy, and Gabriel would come next. But it was easy.
Gabriel.
It was too easy. And with each little life he snuffed out, his lies got bigger. Their house was burning. They're just being kidnapped. Until the last one where all pretense was off. He let
Okay.
himself get violent. Too violent.
I'll just wait for him after school. Throw a bag over his head, hit him with a shovel, and drag him into the back of my car.
Where is this
More
from?
bloody and broken.
This is crazy lore. I've never heard
Go
this.
too far. That one he should have killed. With no more active animatronics left, he
The wording. Yeah, he should have done that one. That was a little too far, you know. But you know, all things considered, it's fine.
So I don't know. Like that's why I'm curious. I don't know what they're gonna put in the movie and what they're not just gonna involve in this movie. This movie's PG-13 too.
Yeah, that's true. I wish it was R.
Yeah, I kind of do too. But I get the decision.
But you can still do a horror movie.
Because I get it's a children's movie, kind of technically.
Oh yeah, kids love FNAF.
So I imagine that's probably why they had to do PG-13. I imagine Blumhouse
Yeah.
was not going to do rated R.
PG-13
And also,
is the
they
obvious
Blumhouse
answer.
probably knew they were going to make a lot more money doing PG-13.
Oh yeah. Kids aren't gonna be allowed to go see this.
I will say about Blumhouse. Blumhouse knows how to make money.
Oh, yes, they do.
Like, you know, they know how to make more than they spent on their movies, so...
body into the one suit that remained backstage. The long forgotten yellow Fredbear.
Ah,
Broken
Fredbear.
and discolored with age. Broken, like Cassidy was broken. Like his son
Okay.
was broken. Newspapers reported on this
Alright.
disappearance, naming the whole thing the missing children's incident. Police would even charge William with the crimes after finding security footage of the golden mascot suit luring kids to the back. But they couldn't convict him. They had no bodies, and his face had been hidden behind the mascot suit the entire time. What they had was circumstantial
hello.
at best. So he walked away a free man. But Henry knew the truth. In these murders, he saw his daughter Charlie all over again.
I
So
mean,
he
you can
threw
convict
Afton out of
him.
the company and shuttered the doors
That
to the
seems
old
pretty easy.
pizzeria. Henry would keep the franchise quiet for 2 years. This would not happen again. This could not happen again. How could he protect the kids? Finally, he developed a solution. He would implement an even more extreme security system in
Okay.
the form of new animatronics. Toy
Security
animatronics.
breach.
Toys that they had been selling
Okay.
years ago. But these guys, these were special. They were a new breed of robot with facial recognition abilities.
But most importantly, they're all tied into some kind of criminal database so they can detect a predator a mile away.
All the original animatronics,
Okay.
now withered with age, were moved to the new location. With a plan in place, it was time to try once more. The year was 1987, and the new and improved.
That's the year.
Brand
That's
family
the year.
was making
Yeah,
We're
its
almost
this is
there.
where Might of 87 happens.
We're about there.
Catch the attention of William
So we're on to
Afton.
FNAF
Fritz
2
was
now.
back. Without him, that was his idea, his character. Henry was, yet again, trying to cut him out of the picture. No, as long as these restaurants stayed open, William would always come back. Then he noticed the phone number to apply at the bottom of the article. $100 a week to apply call. Afton would go back, not as an owner or co-founder. He would go back in the one place that they would least suspect him, a lowly day shift security guard.
Oh, he looks more like the Purple Man now.
Mixed in with the old
It's his
William
origin
Afton
story.
Security badge still on his chest. He used his crank to pull open the spring locks. It was time for Bonnie to give an encore performance.
Someone used one of the suits. We had a spare in the back, a yellow one. Someone used it. Now none of them are acting right. From what I understand, the building is on lockdown. No one is allowed in or out, you know, especially concerning any previous employees. When we get it all sorted out, we may move you to the day shift. A position just became available.
1987, 5.
Okay.
Damn.
Didn't know what felt
He's
better
just
than
like,
being in the
ah,
suit after 2 long years.
if you die, we don't know. But, you know,
Henry,
We'll leave you in
He
there.
didn't even try to hide his crime this time, just meant more blood on Henry's hands. He'd failed to protect the kids again. The restaurant had only been open for a few weeks, but William was sure that this
5 children.
was good. If he couldn't have Freddy's, no one would. Whenever a new
Okay.
pizzeria opened, he would be there. But as he sat in his bunker, something else started to linger in William's mind. He had seen something strange. The old withered animatronics, they had been wandering around the building, spurred on by the puppet. It was almost like those old robots were trying to save the kids. Save them? They couldn't, obviously, but still, how were they moving? It was almost like they had been given life somehow. Did he have something to do with that? The following day, the news would report a security guard getting bitten by one of the animatronics during the day shift. Was that bite meant
The
for-
bite of 87?
William's curiosity was stronger now.
Oh,
than it was
shit.
past. He had to learn more, but how? There
It was meant for him, but it happened to somebody else. I didn't know that.
Freddy's would ever open again. He needed to create something new,
Lore.
something brand new. He needed to create his own pizzeria.
Due to the massive success and even more so the unfortunate closing of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, it was clear that
Was this of the latest one?
no pun intended, for another contender.
This was sister location.
Circus Baby's
Okay.
Pizza World. This would be the place where
Okay.
he could continue his work. No longer just murdering, experimenting. He needed more kids. And he
Yeah,
needed
out of all of
them
them I played,
alive.
this game was
And
my
knowing that he
favorite.
couldn't show his face on the restaurant floor, he needed a way of remotely capturing his victims and preserving them for his work. With that goal in mind, he designed a new breed of animatronic. Their endoskeletons fluid and flexible. He equipped them with sound lures that could mimic voices. They could isolate children. They could incapacitate and contain them with zero direct input from him. It was brilliant. He was brilliant. Far beyond the simple bars
Oh
and
my
wires
God.
and
Okay.
designs. And the characters he chose for this were uniquely his. His new roster wasn't going to be tainted by Henry's disgusting barnyard bird. Instead, it was back to his characters, his creations.
All right.
Freddy, Bonnie, Foxy, as well as 2 special ones.
Back to the
first,
OG,
Laura,
baby.
was an homage to the woman who left
Oh,
him.
Laura.
Now she would never leave him again. The
Okay.
second one,
All right.
That's fucking a robot.
she would always be
Okay.
Daddy's little girl, the one that listened
Don't say that. Don't say that. Matt, you know you can't say that.
Let me play with her. She's so pretty and shiny.
For a second.
Just for me?
Why is the kid British?
The day before Circus Baby's Pizza World opened, she disobeyed. She didn't listen.
The kid
Left
watched too
alone,
much
Baby
Peppa
got
Pig.
too close. The
Yeah, look at-
animatronic ripped in half and swallowed her whole.
Yeah, that robot killed that kid, bro.
Circus Babies under the guise of
Circus
At the
babies.
stage, he noticed that something was different. The eye color of the robot had changed. Baby
What?
had been built with blue eyes, but now they were emerald green, same color as Elizabeth's. Was she in there? Could this all be connected to the free-moving animatronics that he had seen
What?
at Freddy's? He had to know more. His mourning turned to excitement. He had to return to where it all started.
Excitement.
Another theory.
This place was pathetic. Henry had clearly tried to reopen one final time with those old original animatronics from so long ago, but William's damage to the brand had been permanent. These things stank of death. They hadn't been washed in decades. But even if they had, nothing could wash away the stink of murder that haunted these halls. One night, then
Blood.
another, then another. William repeatedly snuck into
Ah.
the old broken restaurant to lure the,
The
living
first one.
animatronics to him, one by one dismantling them, robbing them of their endoskeletons.
Okay.
The metal had to be the secret. It had to contain the remnants of life itself.
What?
But he had to know for sure. Leaping out of a room that was invisible to the animatronics programming, he
You're about to
tried
get like it's especially when he gets sister location timeline. You're about to see a scene that's crazy that I still don't understand.
Alright.
Eyes that somehow felt alive. Not knowing what else to do, William melted the robotic parts down. 5 animatronic endoskeletons.
No, not Freddy.
One silvery puddle of goo. Could he transfer this
Goo.
metal to his own creations? He had to try. He picked up a syringe and filled it with the molten metal and injected the goo into Funtime Freddy's twisted, wiry endoskeleton. And suddenly the coils came to life. Like snakes
What?
writhing in a pile, what had once been cold, lifeless metal moved and
Okay.
jolted on its own. He'd done it. He had unlocked the secret to life itself. Except something
What?
was really wrong.
I haven't heard of this.
Okay.
Violent, angry. Baby didn't act this way. She had been calm, collected. This was clearly something else, something mindless and frantic. Perhaps by mixing the souls and then portioning them out, he had created incomplete beasts. He would need to keep testing.
Okay.
He needed more of this remnant. As he searched the old pizzeria one more time for any remaining scraps of metal, the ghosts attacked. His past victims
What?
had to collect their due. All led
Yeah.
to the 5 lined up and blocked the door.
All the children.
Real. The scientific
What?
implications of this were incredible. Ghosts, real ghosts that he could see all standing against him. But what could they do? What couldn't they do? He panicked as Cassidy approached. How do you stop something that's already dead?
Minecraft. Why are there Minecraft arms?
Regain his power over them just
What?
like the day that they died. He was the genius. He was the one in the suit. He was the one in charge. The spring lock snapped into place. Maybe it was his frantic movements. Maybe it was the leaky abandoned restaurant. Maybe it was just fate coming to collect its due. He didn't know. The only thing he did know was that his brain was suddenly filled with searing white-hot pain as hundreds of metallic
White-hot
gears
pain.
stabbed into
Yeah,
his
it has to be
body
white.
from all sides.
Ah,
All
okay.
he could do was collapse.
Not blue.
No.
White. Okay.
It
This makes
couldn't
sense.
end like this. It wouldn't end like this. His work was unfinished. Unable to move, his only option was to survive, to live. To
Okay.
keep living. It took days lying in his own blood, but eventually someone found him. A security guard making a normal report. When he saw the animatronics torn apart in the middle of the party room floor, it caused him to file an immediate report of a break-in. An owner would have to come in and claim the damage. And who else would it be other than
Henry.
Henry.
His heart. Henry would see him. They were partners after all. He would be the one to help save
Oh,
him,
boy.
to get him out of this suit, to relieve him from this tremendous pain.
Okay.
Henry entered the secret room. His eyes fell on Afton sitting there in the pool of red, and Henry, saying nothing, turned and walked away.
All employees that due to budget restrictions, the previously mentioned safe rooms are being sealed at most locations, including this one. Nothing is being taken out beforehand, so if you left anything inside, then it's your own fault. Management also requests that this room not be mentioned to family, friends, or insurance representatives.
And so there Afton would sit, hanging on for 30 years, trapped behind the walls.
What?
With iron will.
He saw him and he's just like,
And
Fuck it.
he's like, that ain't my problem.
You murdered my kid.
He's like,
Fuck it.
that's crazy.
I say this part because it's not officially the end of the Afton era just yet, but this just felt like a really solid stopping point. The episode has gone on forever. Okay, so most
It
of
has?
this is things that we already
26
knew, stuff
minutes.
That's been established.
That's
and
not
reestablished
long.
time and time again by the games. That said, there are two things that I absolutely have to address. The first and biggest is the placement of sister location, or more
Okay.
specifically, Elizabeth's death. To me, evidence in game seems to suggest that it was meant to come before
Yo.
the crying child's death in 1983. The biggest clue to this is that the crying child saw something. Remember what you saw is the phrase that's repeated over and over again by psychic friend Fredbear, aka William Afton speaking through a walkie-talkie in the Fredbear plushie's stomach. But what did he see? Well, I think we can tell based on how the nightmare animatronics are visualized. They have mouths in their stomachs, just like Baby ripping in
Ooh.
half at the waist to
Oh.
save the kid. There's
What?
also the empty girl's room, one presumably left behind by a dead sister. And lastly, it explains
Oh,
why
shit,
he's
I didn't know
scared,
that.
and more specifically why Afton wants him scared. He needs
Okay.
his kids to stay away from the animatronics. He doesn't want them getting too close because the last time one of his kids got too close to a robot, his daughter died.
Yank that shit.
That's then why he
Yoink.
sets up nightmares, to scare both Mike and the crying child away from the animatronics from that point forward. That's why books like the Character Encyclopedia outright
Oh.
suggest that we play as the crying child in FNAF 4. That's why he has a nanny cam following the crying child everywhere, so he can keep tabs on his kids when they're out of his sight. He can't let another Elizabeth situation happen. The
But
death
then
of
Okay.
literally got his head
Afton
smashed in.
motivation for killing. He's a grieving father. His daughter was taken away from him, so Charlie should die as well. He's lashing.
Charlie.
Charlie's Henry's daughter.
Moist Critical.
I forgot about, yeah, you're right.
out in
Moist
the world.
Critical is canon.
And again, we know that at least one of his children had to have died prior to Charlie's death, based on the mound of dirt that we see in Midnight Motorist. It also
Okay.
allows Circus Babies to open and close earlier in the timeline, which is how you wind up with Funtime Foxy appearing as Mangle in the FNAF 2 location.
Oh.
Basically, Elizabeth
Okay.
dying first has everything it needs to fit, except for the most important thing, the murder weapon. Why would Afton be building an animatronic with a giant claw in its stomach so early in the timeline? At
Okay.
this point, he just has no motive. It just doesn't make sense prior to 1983. At this point in the story, he hasn't killed anyone. And we know for a fact that the missing children's incident is 1985.
Ah.
So Elizabeth's
The
death
books.
coming before any of those events just doesn't work. Hence why I
Okay.
placed it where I did in the narrative timeline. Afton's death here is also a bit tricky. We know that he returned
Okay.
to the FNAF 1 location to break down the original animatronics in order to harvest their remnant. We know that he melts down 5 things to become one thing. Candy Cadet makes that very clear. So the 5 things are the 5
What is that?
skeletons.
Looks like a robot in Star Wars.
He's in the 6th game. He tells you stories if you give him like a coin or whatever. He'll tell you stories.
starts in 19
Give me a coin and I will tell you a riddle.
Years later when he reemerges from the wall to add the last endoskeleton to his pile, or
okay.
he's had himself some reason to return to the original location after harvesting all the stuff that he can. It's not ideal, but it's the one angle that makes the most sense. And with that, this next chapter comes to a close, thereby leaving us with 5 more games to cover.
Alright.
So his kid died. Daughter died before.
Then
Then
son got
son
crushed.
in 83. So then he made robots and then killed other children. And then he's building these robots. Then he went back to the original place.
Yep.
Took the skeletons of the old animatronics.
Yep.
Took those skeletons, melted them down, put the melted down metal and squirted it onto the new robots.
Yep.
And that made them come to life.
Yes. I guess that's the best way to put it. Yes.
Okay. But they're violent. But the other robot isn't.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're trying to find the one who killed him, basically.
Okay.
This is the third one.
Okay.
Hello,
Alright.
Internet.
Welcome to Game Theory!
And page 20 of our final Fnaf.
Page 20.
Jesus.
Today we're finishing up chapter 2 of our story, wrapping up the Afton era. Over the next 6 pages, we switch our focus to the other main character of the franchise, Mike, a young boy dealing with the fallout of a stupid childhood decision with tragic consequences. A young man whose life is best described as collateral damage, caught in the blast radius of William's whirlwind of destruction. Now, before we begin, let me just rip off the Band-Aid now. We won't be finishing the timeline today. I know.
No! Why?
And the security breach wound up taking me an additional 9 pages of script. And I've already made you wait long enough for this part, so I just had to make the executive call to break this one up into 2. Don't worry, that part is already written.
Tragic.
The part recorded is just in the process of being edited. It is
His editor's probably like
His editors are like
25th.
just
punching walls.
yeah.
We go back over
Did you know I saw a study where it was like the most stressful jobs in I think it was America or it was just overall. It was number 1 was doctors.
Yeah.
Skipping to number 3 was doctors' assistants.
Yeah.
Number 2 was editors.
I mean, it makes sense. You're sitting at a computer editing.
Yeah,
all
you're just
fucking
like
day.
Mike.
Michael Afton.
Still wasn't back here.
Miguel
His
Afton.
father sometimes traveled at work, disappearing for days on end, but usually there was some sort of notice, a phone call, post-it, something. It's not like Michael and his father were close, far from it. But as a household of 2 suffering men coping with years of tragedy and loss, there was at least some element of communication between the 2 of them. They were united by a name and a shared pain. This time, though, things were different. William had left nothing. His absence was longer. There were no check-ins, no updates, just silence. Something had happened. If there was one thing Michael knew about his father, it was that he had contingencies, safety checks, backup plans. His father was a careful and guarded man. He held his cards close to his chest. As such, William had prepared him in the event that something like this ever happened. Normally, his father kept his home office locked, but in the event of an unexpected, prolonged absence, Michael had been instructed to enter his father's office and look
Oh,
behind
no.
shelves mounted in the
Oh.
corner of the room. Rolling his eyes, Michael entered the office. Never fully understood how William was able to spend so many hours of his days.
Minecraft Cobweb. Minecraft Cobweb.
This place was empty. He dragged himself over to the shelf in the corner, expecting to find an emergency contact list, a family safety deposit box. But what he actually found there was completely unexpected.
The corpse.
Michael.
Okay.
I found it. It was right where you said it would be.
The shelf swung open and revealed a giant industrial elevator, one that led straight down into an underground bunker. But that was impossible. He had
What?
inside his childhood
What?
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Okay.
This underground science
Batman?
lab didn't make any sense. Seriously, it didn't make any sense. And yet, here it was, mapped directly underneath the floor plan of the house that he'd grown up in, lost his brother in, been tortured in. Michael thought that he'd known his father, a prideful, sad, angry man with petty, everyday problems, but clearly he'd been living with a stranger this entire time. His father had secrets. Suddenly, the days of William being locked inside of his office made sense. He'd been here the entire time. Where was here, though? Was this Circus Baby's entertainment and rental? Clearly, the entrance he had found was some sort of secret back way into the facility, one that required crawling through vents to navigate. His father had been working here, but in secret. Why? And that's when he found her. At the end of the facility, Circus Baby. His father
Hello.
pride and joy. Except something was different about her. She wasn't like the others. The way she talked, the stories she told. This wasn't just a robot. She was alive. William's baby girl? But how? Why? What was this place? He dug around some old files and found blueprints outlining the features of these animatronics. Storage.
Wait, so what's this one called?
Sister location.
Okay.
Was his father collecting and experimenting on kids? Were all the rumors that he
Yep.
heard throughout his past actually true?
Yup.
That animatronics came to life at night? That there were murders done in all the pizzerias? That his father had somehow been the prime suspect in all of it? Suddenly,
Okay.
William's mind flashed back to his persistent nightmares throughout his childhood. Had he been experimented on too? Tears stung in his eyes as anger, fear, and confusion filled his body. His father's secrets were pouring out. William wasn't just a lame, overworked father. He was a monster toying with life itself.
Oh,
Suddenly, everything
a
clicked.
monster.
He frantically looked around the room, blinking human heads on poles staring back at him. Green eyes, his sister. Blue eyes, his brother. Closed eyes, his mom. All just staring.
What?
Expectantly. These were meant to be human. William was working down here trying to make believable humans, literally rebuilding the family that they had both lost. The small little girl robots.
Oh, it's bro.
Yo.
Bro.
Yo.
Were those
No.
meant to be his
Stop
sister?
talking.
Replacement for her? A
Shoot it.
clone? Was William building clones of
Kill
his
it.
sister? They seemed to know
Fuck that.
Imagine if they gave you a shotgun in these movies.
They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you.
Why are they British?
Resemblance to his father.
This is in Utah.
Revealed as the reality of his world crumbled to dust. No, he had to get them out of there. If this really was his sister, heck, if any of these things were human, souls, whatever remnant of the humans that they once were, they needed to be rescued.
They always put us back inside. There's nowhere for us to hide here.
Led by
Okay.
the voice of Circus Baby, he marched through the now empty halls of the Funtime Auditorium. He would
All
lead
right.
them. He would protect them. And finally, he would be able to forgive himself for the killing of his brother so many years.
He dies?
Yeah, the scoop. Well, yeah, the scooping room.
The scooping room?
Yeah.
Oh.
Baby lured him in there.
Seen that one in the pile of blueprints. Something about heat rendering the magical silver metal inside useless.
Yeah.
Prior to getting himself spring-locked and put behind the wall, William's methods had become increasingly sophisticated, with a mechanized arm that could.
Baby lured him in there and tricked him
William
into.
could finally give and take away life. The only thing he needed were the bodies. But William wasn't the only one looking for bodies, as Michael was about to learn.
But if we looked like you, then we could hide. If we looked like you, then we would have somewhere to go.
Michael was going to be the hero to help these animatronics, all right. He was
Okay.
gonna help the haunted tubes and wires of these animatronics escape, just not in the way that he anticipated. His sister had lied to him.
Yep.
Another game of pretend. The
What?
scooper plowed forward, digging its extraction arm into his body as he heard
They
the
did. Yeah,
bones
they
rip
didn't
into
tell
his
him that he was gonna basically get.
Something is wrong with me.
Okay.
I should be dead. But I'm not.
What is this music? Why is it playing classical music?
I don't know where that's from.
For the next several months, Michael's life was not his own. He was forced
Wait,
to
so okay, so the scooper scooped him.
Yep.
What did that do? Yeah, so the scooper had the metal in it,
Yeah, it's.
and it kind of just like punched the metal into him.
I don't know the way to describe it. You'd have to see the cutscene. I don't think. Let me see if he does the cutscene because it's
Alright.
hard to explain without.
His body felt like an overfilled balloon begging to burst.
Yeah, okay.
Day
What?
By week, his flesh began to sag and discolor. He was a walking, talking, rotting corpse, alive but wishing he wasn't. He was a puppet, a
Yeah.
walking shell. And while he did his best to conceal his fate, there was only so much a man filled with robot spaghetti could do. The entity in his innards would eventually.
What is that animation?
Yeah. So basically, I guess that exoskeleton got in his body, and then they got out. Yeah, they used him to get out.
And he's a purple man now, like his father.
Yep.
Been living in shadows.
Okay.
There's only one thing
What is this music?
for me to do now.
Stop with the classical music.
Michael had to correct for the sins of his father. He had to make things right.
Ah, the sins of the
Burned
father.
Fazbear Entertainment to the ground. I mean, what else could you do when your skin was permanently purple? Michael's strategy was simple. He would apply for night security guard positions at the old defunct pizzeria locations. That way, no one ever had to see him or smell him during his shift.
Smell.
All these old shuttered
He's stinky
locations
boy.
didn't need guards. Teenage vandals and squatters were always looking to get inside these abandoned buildings,
Yeah.
and yet no one ever really wanted to work an overnight graveyard shift unless they were practically out of options. Enter One by one, he would take on the job
Mike.
of security guard, changing his name each time to ensure that no
What?
one was able to follow his paper trail. Once inside, he could tamper with the animatronics,
Fritz?
figure out how they worked, writing about his experiences.
What game
in
is
a
this?
logbook. Well, there he would listen to the old tapes where upper management awkwardly welcomed.
Either the third or the
him to
first
summer
one.
jobs.
Okay.
I think we're in the third one.
They're nowhere near the
All right.
same ones.
No,
He learned
first one.
gory details of his
Oh, okay.
father's franchise from the outsiders looking in, confused and
It's
afraid about what was
handsome
happening.
Markiplier.
Sometimes he would see his brother
With cut hair.
Freddy suit. It's me appearing on the walls around him. Except now
What?
there was something else there.
Oh, I thought when he said that he meant like, oh, it's me. It's a game theory cameo.
No longer alone. Another angrier presence was also in the suit, as if two spirits were forced to share the same life. When Golden Freddy would attack him, it was aggressive. His
Golden
fingers
Freddy.
wanted to lash
Yep.
out at anyone with the Afton name, anyone who wore a security guard outfit. Over time, Mike worked his way through the old restaurants, the original pizzeria, the bigger, better Freddy Fazbear's. He spent weeks there looking for clues as to his father's whereabouts. Each time at the end of his week shift, he would then set the location on fire. Remnant can't survive high temperatures after all. So burning away whatever spirit-laden animatronics that still existed inside seemed like a winning strategy. All this revisiting of his past, though, was causing the nightmares to begin again. Hallucinations that brought him back to his childhood. The guilt around killing his brother. His dreams were oddly mixed with the shrill phone calls of the security guards. But it would all be worth it in the end. The goal was to eventually stumble across the one location, the one job that would finally reunite him with his father. Little did Mike know that that day would come sooner than he expected.
Gumdrop?
2023, an advertisement came across Mike's TV.
Yo.
Fazbear Frights, new horror
They're doing a Fortnite dance. Hit it. Hit it, boys. Hit it, boys. Just Michael Myers doing the gritty.
Regardless, he had to be a part of it. This team was combing through his family's history. They might stumble across something that could be useful. And if his father was truly still alive as he suspected, there would be no way that he wouldn't show up here. Maybe finally this could be the final chapter in his family's marathon of tragedy. Mike applied for the job and was immediately handed the keys. Years of doing this had taught him that security guards rarely receive thorough security checks. They also liked how creepy Mike looked. They thought it was a costume on theme for the job.
He's a purple man.
Glad you came back for another night. I promise.
Hey.
It'll be a lot more interesting.
How's it going? What?
Just as Mike was giving up, he received the call that he'd been waiting for years.
You're not gonna believe this. We found one, a real one.
Could this finally be him? There he was. William inside his iconic golden Bonnie Springlock.
William.
Now it was green, decaying with age. And there they were, a small family of broken men finally reunited. It's been a long time. Mike had always struggled with the phantoms of his past haunting him. But now, all the animatronics he'd encountered over the past months, from pizzeria to pizzeria, suddenly sprang to life. Their burned faces
Why'd that scare me a bit? That's so stupid.
That scared you?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Put the spirits on high
Well,
alert.
the thing
Ultimately, they were harmful,
moved.
more annoying than anything else. But there was one that felt different from the others. One that
Okay.
was more than just a mere phantom. The security puppet. If he looked at the camera at just the right moment,
the
he could see it
mime.
floating there through the halls. He could even see its reflection in the water pool down the ground. It would seem
It's
like
just standing.
he wasn't the only one there on a mission.
Default
When he was
pose.
Post it up.
Michael
Yeah.
assumed that this one was likely dealing with the spirits of this place, finally setting them to rest. Hopefully this means a happier day for all of us, Mike thought to himself. And in that moment, he felt the air around him release,
Okay.
like pressure being let out of a bottle. The building sighed, as if 5 spirits had finally been allowed to move on. He had the sense that his brother was a part of them. He rigged the wiring inside the building to misfire, and the dry, desiccated walls erupted in flames. It is finished.
Just like the Bible.
Was not. Somehow, through sheer force,
Somehow Palpatine returned.
he had survived, and Mike would need to find a new way of finishing
Yep,
off his father.
he survived.
Restaurant ownership and management. Something almost anyone can do with a limited degree of success. You are now the face of the newly rebranded Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Fazbear Entertainment as a brand has been closed for years. William had been stuck in a suit and a wall.
Oh, this is where security breach comes in, right?
Nope.
The franchise
Oh.
back was Henry, but he'd largely
Henry.
pulled out of the franchise around
Henry.
his father's disappearance.
Gregory.
Something was up. Surely this had to be some kind of a trick, right? Mike, doing what he did best, applied for a franchise and immediately got the job. There was just one thing out of the ordinary. Paragraph 4.
If you are playing this tape, that means that not only have you been checking outside at the end of every shift, as you were instructed to do, but also that you have found something that meets the criteria of your special obligations under paragraph 4.
No employment contract he'd ever signed required him to keep special lookout for independently moving animatronics outside the restaurant. Now he knew something was up here. Henry
Yep.
was luring them all
Okay.
back. Rather than trying to go to them, like Mike had done for years, Henry was doing the opposite. He was putting them all under the same roof. He was finishing them off for good. Mike knew this wasn't meant to be a restaurant. It was meant to be a prison, a containment vessel, a locked box meant to trap them all in so they could finally end the madness. It took a few nights, but eventually everyone was there. His father, the puppet, the robot spaghetti that had once violated his body.
Bro, you cannot say that.
The robot spaghetti?
No, violated his body.
It definitely did.
I mean, I guess.
It was unconsensual. He went right into his body. Went right through his mouth hole. Dude, that's pretty... Or how did they go through... Yeah, they through the mouth hole. That's crazy.
Or the other holes. Anyway.
He needed to be a part of that.
This is where your story ends. And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you.
What's this
There was
music?
a way out planned for you. I have a feeling
It's
that
like
is not what you
Batman.
want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still.
This sounds like Walking Dead.
Parents, they don't belong to you. For most of
This sounds like the Walking Dead theme.
This is the end of the 6th game.
clears. Hell has opened to swallow you whole.
Okay.
The devil waiting, old friend.
And with that, it was over. The Afton legacy died.
Bro, I'm just trying to do a security job.
Flames danced around the office. Mike, for the first time in decades, was happy. But William wasn't gone yet. Someone wouldn't allow him to move on. Instead, he found himself locked in moments from his past.
Oh, yeah.
The sun's
This is
release.
Ultimate Custom Night.
As if his brain's neurons were all firing
The
at
what?
once,
This is
overloading,
Ultimate
mixing and
Custom
matching
Night we're
pulse
in
makes
now.
fears
Okay.
regrets.
What's that one?
Whoa.
It's
What a-
basically every animatronic of every game on hardest mode. It's such a hard game, dude.
Oh. What is this?
Then they
Bro.
started coming. Without warning,
And it's
animatronics
basically
began
Michael
to
Afton
jump out at
Hell.
Mike and
Not Michael Afton's, William Afton's Hell.
pain was immeasurable.
Okay.
Make
That's
it
what you're
stop,
playing
make
as.
it stop. William, for the first time, longed for death, an end to this torture. Just as it felt like he couldn't take it anymore, everything was quiet again. It was as if the world had been reset. There was a brief moment of quiet, and then the onslaught began again. Dozens of faces
The voices.
all focused on him. A waking nightmare that he couldn't escape from. More pain, more ripping.
That
It was
game's
his
so
own
hard to
personal
beat,
hell.
dude.
But why?
Is that like
Why
a-
couldn't he just die? And then he
That's
saw
crazy.
a group of characters he never thought he'd see again.
What?
Yankees stole
Oh, the Ned Bear. Is that his name? Ned Bear?
Yeah.
But
Yes.
it all started to go wrong once they showed up. Once
Ah.
Henry had made them. But mixed in with their obnoxious southern drawls, William heard something else. It was barely
Hey, what do you got against the southern drawl?
Just without the words.
He tried to release you. He tried to release us.
Why is it British?
Gonna let that happen.
It's supposed to be country, baby.
Hold you here. I will keep you here.
What is that face?
No matter how many times they burn.
That voice. He knew that voice, but from where?
Why does he have a pumpkin?
One he shouldn't have killed. William thought that. He'd done a lot of awful things, but there was always the one that
What?
stood out. Not Charlie, his drunken act of revenge. Not Susie, his first true murder. No. Instead, it was the one that he had lost control with. The one that he had broken beyond repair for no good reason other than because...
Wait, we're back on. Oh, we're back at the main guy?
Yep.
Not William?
Cassidy.
No, we're at William.
Oh, this is William still.
To make him suffer like he'd made them suffer. It was almost like William and Cassidy's souls had been locked together, fused by a collective rage and spite, each refusing to move on. But while Cassidy was so focused on taking revenge, they actually did
Okay.
the one thing that would be the downfall for so many others. They kept William alive. Even though fire should have destroyed the remnant that was coursing through his being, Cassidy kept William breathing, paving the way for his escape. William's
Okay.
will was so strong, his soul so powerful that he managed to put a part of himself inside the circuitry that housed the spring-locked suit. And
Okay.
there his consciousness lay inside a single circuit board, waiting for someone to
Okay.
find him and set him free. A person that no one would suspect. Okay, so a bit of a shorter chunk, but an important
All right.
one as we shift perspectives to Mike and tell his
Ah,
story.
Mike.
And with FNAF VR, AR, and Security Breach having so much
Oh, wait.
to explain, I didn't wanna
Wait,
rush
so.
through things.
Okay, so. Alright, so Michael
Yeah.
is the one that went through and became the security guard for all of the.
The first,
places.
third, and sixth.
Okay, so and then he's also the guy that is getting haunted by all of these.
No, that's William. William is the one who killed everybody. Killed all the kids.
Okay, William is still alive in the circuit board.
I guess so. I don't
Okay.
know. Like I said, after him being in that hell, I don't know what happens after that.
Wait, so where's Michael?
He's probably dead because he was burning in there
Oh,
with
he was in
everybody.
the fire.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom, but I'll keep it playing. I'll just tune into the stream on my phone.
Oh, you're gonna watch it in there?
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before we wrap up for the day, I did want to talk about the big Orville elephant in the room, Mike's quest for revenge. You might have noticed that I was vague about the dates, and there's good reason for that. I don't know them. There is no good way for me to make them fit in. Here's what I do know. We know with a high amount of certainty that Michael Afton is the character that we play as up until Ultimate Custom Night. Mike Schmidt and Fred Smith, the security guards for FNAF 1 and FNAF 2 respectively, get fired for, quote, tampering with the animatronics and odor. So weird connection between the two of them, right? But now, look at the phantom animatronics that are haunting us in FNAF 3. They use models from both FNAF 1 and FNAF 2, meaning whoever is sitting in that security guard chair, Fazbear Frights, they have to have seen both locations and their animatronics. And that's not all. Their designs are burned. So weird game, and it's something that the character encyclopedia repeatedly calls attention to, the burned texture for these phantom animatronics. Why is that so unusual, though? Fazbear Frights is the first time in the franchise that we hear about anything burning down. From that point on in the story, it's like the characters turn pyro and are suddenly setting fires left and right. But for the first 3 games, nothing ever catches fire. The animatronics are just moved or repurposed in some way. So when did they burn? And why would our security guards see them as being burned? Someone has to have been going location to location, setting these places on fire, purging the sins of the past. We know we're definitely playing as Mike and sister location in FNAF 6.
Whoa, okay.
What happened?
So he's been burning down. So Michael's been burning down all the FNAF areas from 1 and 2.
Yeah.
We also know that Mike has seen the animatronics based on the drawings from the security log. So overall, there is solid evidence that connects all of FNAFs 1 through 6. You'll also notice how the character encyclopedia doesn't have a page for Mike Afton. This thing has a page for Chocolate Bunny Bonnie, but not Michael. Some tells me they don't want us to confirm how many games he's been in, because that would confirm too much of the theory. In short, this gives us an
You would
incredibly
confirm I'm
narrative.
correct.
Mike as our protagonist and William, his father, as our antagonist. Mike accidentally kills his brother in Fredbear's mouth, which begins our story and sets William down his pathway of destruction. Mike is then haunted by the guilt of his past and is looking to make things right across the rest of the games. In Sister Location, he learns what his father's been up to and realizes what he has to do to correct it. After failing to finish the job in FNAF 3, he ultimately helps Henry end it all in FNAF 6.
Man.
It is great. It is a clean narrative.
There's
There
so
is
much
just
information.
one
There's a lot
problem
of
behind
information.
Mike's quest can't
Why
really
did the
start until he's
calendar
been
have a
down to
face?
Sister Location, seen baby, and gotten himself scooped. That's when he finds out about Afton's secret life. It's also when he's gonna start to smell, because, you know, he's a walking, talking, rotting corpse. And we know that he's not going down into the bunker until the Funtime animatronics have been made, Freddy's has been closed, and Afton is out of the picture. That all should be happening post-1993, after William is sealed behind a wall. But that then presents us with a few problems. Afton has already dismantled the original animatronics as we see in the FNAF 3 minigames. How are those things getting burned if they're already deconstructed? But more importantly, we see FNAF 2 paychecks with the date 1987. That is way earlier than I think it can be. To be fair, Fritz Smith's pink slip on night 7 doesn't have a date, but it's a bit weird to say that the first few nights are in 1987 and then employee number 3 is hired on years after the restaurant closes. Anyway, just wanted to call that out because I don't have a solid answer for it, and I'd love to see your comments down below. And with that, my friends, this chapter comes to a close. We'll see you on March 25th for the grand finale as we cover the final 3 games in the franchise and the controversial answers we think solve.
What's special delivery? Oh, that's AR?
Yeah, they have like an AR game.
Okay.
It looks pretty cool.
It's like Pokemon Go?
Yeah.
Okay. And then VR. That would be terrifying.
I still want to get it.
I have a VR headset. We could do it.
I'm down.
All right.
We can't do it now, though.
No, we're not going to do it now. But we'll do it at some point.
At a later time. Yeah, I'm down.
In the franchise and the controversial answers we think solve.
Okay, who's this guy? Is this guy
him?
Yeah.
That's Gregory.
Gregory. Oh, yes, from Gregory.
We're trying to tell
From Gregory.
Until then, my
From
Faz
Gregory.
heads, remember, even though
Faz
Afton kind of
heads?
succeeded in being
That's what
brought
they
back
call
to life,
the-
gotta admit,
the-
still
okay.
looking a little bit on the dry, dehydrated side. I suppose 3 fires and being dead for a
this is
decade
a-
will tend to
this
do
is a
that to you. Fortunately,
segment.
thanks to today's sponsor,
Yep.
Air Up, I think we can help.
Goodbye.
The thumbs up is amazing.
Springtrap says yes to Air Up.
Child murderer agrees to this.
That was a lot of information. I'm going to forget all of this information when we watch the movie.
I forgot what the first video was talking about.
Yeah. I don't know, something about the Great Depression.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to
Game Theory!
And the final part of my FNAF timeline, where today we're bringing our story to a close by talking about the most complicated and controversial part of the timeline, the part that I've been dreading most of all, the end. The moment where we're finally forced to come to some definitive and difficult answers trying to explain what the heck we were watching in Security Breach. The last two episodes have been about death. The death of Afton's family, the deaths of multiple children, the death of the franchise itself as Mike and Henry figuratively and literally burn it all down. Today's episode, though, and the current end of this franchise, is instead all about rebirth. The return of old characters in new forms, and the controversial rebirth of a franchise entering the next era of its story. But before we hop into the timeline, due to scheduling conflicts, I won't be able to have any live talkback after this episode. I know, I promised Fazbear Entertainment was dead.
There is no need for you to return to work next week, as Fazbear Entertainment is no longer a corporate entity.
All bets have been paid. All assets redistributed.
Why?
The company was outright dissolved. Even the memories of the horrors that had happened there started to fade away in the public consciousness.
So what happened to the
People
Emily
were gone
guy?
too. William was dead. Henry was gone. A whole
Emily's
generation of
I don't
young
know if
Emilys
Emily's
and
a dude.
Aftons had lost
Well,
their
it's the-
lives.
that's
to
the last
horrors
name
at
of the dude.
pizzeria. All of them collateral damage to the man in the bunny suit. Everyone the company had ever touched was dead and gone. Well, all except one.
Pay your child support, you deadbeats! I'm keeping the diamond ring. I also set the house on fire!
Clara Afton. She'd been there in the early days. Back when
Okay.
things
Oh,
with
she
William
does
were
it?
Good. They'd had the
What?
perfect home, a thriving business, the ideal family. But shortly after their youngest son died, things started to change. William had become distant, lost in his work, obsessive. She had watched him change from this irritatingly brilliant man that she had fallen in love with to a drunken monster struggling to hold himself together. And despite her trying to reach out to him in those desperate days, he was just too far gone.
This again. Wait, so she's dead? Or...
I don't know.
Okay. It's kind of a banger.
This is kind of fair.
I'll listen to this while I run.
This shit on Spotify.
Bro,
For her
true.
sake, she had to leave the relationship.
Listening
From
to
there,
horror
she
music
marched
while you're on a
into
run is, like,
obscurity.
genius.
A mystery from William's past, a footnote.
Because then you're like, oh
That was
god, he's
fine.
behind me.
She wanted to leave that part of her life behind. She tried to move forward, never wanting to hear the name Freddy Fazbear again. A time defined by mistakes and broken promises.
Minecraft
But then the
painting in the
paperwork started
background.
to arrive. As Fazbear Entertainment began to close as a corporate entity, suddenly her mail was flooded with notifications, requests, obligations. She had been there since the beginning, helping William in the early days of his business, and now, as a shareholder and sole living member of the Afton family, all copyrights and trademarks of both Afton Robotics and Fazbear Entertainment passed on to her. Memories of this
She
past
owns
life
it.
that she had long left behind.
Okay.
Looking at the blueprints, the contracts, the memos, she felt old wounds begin to reopen. The regrets of a happy family that had been torn away from her. William had always been brilliant. That's what had attracted her to him in the first place. This was her chance, and one thought resonated in her head. I will put them back together. I will
It's
put
like
them
poetry.
all back together.
It rhymes!
She
It
would
is
be
poetry.
the one to rebuild this family, to rebuild the pieces of that shattered life, to reclaim the kids that Fazbear had stolen from her. But how? Looking at William's work now laid out before her, she knew that he had been onto something, collecting remnant, robotic humanoids, digital conscience transference. The pieces were all in place, they were just scattered, fragmented. It was almost like there were too many ideas going in too many different directions. It was such an important idea that she reiterated that point to herself.
Okay.
There were too many ideas going in too many different directions. That said, there had to be a
Thank
way
you,
to
Matt
save it all.
Pat.
She just needed to put it all back together. But how? To rebuild her family, she would first need to rebuild the franchise that had stolen them away from her. With ownership over the characters, their licenses, the technology patents, and the Fazbear name, she converted the corporation back to an LLC, a structure for
Alright.
smaller businesses that are usually family-owned.
Video quote.
Alex says you're gonna hate
From there,
this.
she would need revenue.
Wait, it did? Game Theory FNAF. You're going to hate this. FNAF Security Breach. Okay.
A structure for smaller businesses that are usually family-owned. The irony was fitting. From there, she would need Remnant, and lots of it. Remnant was
We
the
need
key.
the goo.
Clearly, in the later years of his life,
The
William had
goo.
been using Circus Babies Entertainment and Rentals as a remnant farm, sending robots to
Remnant
kids' birthday
farm.
parties in the hopes of nabbing bits of the stuff here and there. But clearly, it wasn't enough. He had, what, like 4, maybe 5 animatronics going out every week? No. It was a decent idea, but to get the remnant they required, it needed scale. Dozens, hundreds of animatronics all out there.
An
all
army.
gathering remnant from unsuspecting customers. But to do that would require help, something William would never ask for. William had kept everything in-house. His obsession with control limited him. Clara,
It's
though,
the-
she wasn't nearly
back
that
with
precious.
the
A plan
Emily
like this
guy.
required partners, people outside of Fazbear to do the heavy lifting. So she contacted a mid-sized delivery company, DLZ
okay.
Shipping Solutions, to help build replicas of all the original animatronics. And with
Why
meal
shipping
delivery apps being all the
solutions?
rage, why not an
It's a
animatronic
shipping
delivery
company.
service? Order one to celebrate your birthday, your Halloween party. How about a 4th of July picnic? We'll invite Liberty Chica and 4th of July Freddy on over. She would make sure.
Oh my god, they sell those in stores. They sell them as little action figures.
No.
Yeah, they do.
This is canon.
Dude, they literally have action figures at Walmart of these two right here. I never knew the context of them, but now I know.
I'm getting 4th of July Freddy. Just look at that.
Bro, I want one. I say we all get one after.
No more Funko Pops. Now
No,
Liberty Chica and 4th of July Freddy.
We need purely Fnaf base.
We're getting this entire cabinet here is
based.
getting replaced with based FNAF merch.
Chocolate Bonnies for Easter, Shamrock Freddy's for St. Patrick's Day, Dia de los Muertos Chicas.
That's scary.
This goes hard.
That does go hard. That's the best one yet. Look at the cupcake. That cupcake's
Dia de los Muertos
Chico.
I almost said China.
That's not right.
Mexican China.
Two completely different places.
Yeah.
And thus, the Fazbear Funtime service was born.
That's right. With the Fazbear Fun Time service,
Yeah.
you'll never
Cameo!
Markiplier was the Wonder Man ads for it. It's really funny.
He made the ads for these?
Well, he was
it ridiculous?
used for the ads for him. Oh, hi.
Ooh.
Ice Bear.
Ice Bear.
Absolutely. Was it a sellout? Pff, no doubt.
Circus
it was exactly
Fox.
the sort of thing that William would have
Steampunk little
hated,
child.
But it needed to be done to get enough remnant. Normally, the novelty of ordering an animatronic wore off after like what, 1, maybe 2 times. But with new skins for new holidays, suddenly you had yourself an
Wait, so
animatronic.
skins? Wait, is this like a mobile game? Like Fortnite with skins? This is the other game, the shipping game. Delivery, special delivery.
Oh, yeah.
This is what
It's
this is
either
from.
that or the VR game, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, I think this is the AR game.
It might be.
Because it's like different skins, mobile game. What would you be going to deliver? Skins.
And that's all the children see.
Yeah, children love skins.
They love
They
that.
Fortnite.
Yeah, exactly.
Fortnite.
Spend $25
Perfect for
on
every
a skin.
occasion. It would
I think this is the first time we've ever understood something in these videos.
Fortnite
keep people
terms.
hooked.
Fortnite
It would keep them
terms.
ordering the latest and greatest that Fazbear Entertainment LLC had to offer. And all the while, they'd be collecting and returning the remnant back to her. In a word, it was brilliant. There was just one problem with it. No one trusted the Fazbear name. The company's brand was still mud in the public eye. No one would want to hire animatronics from the restaurant franchise known for murdering children. Nothing
Yeah.
kills a party quite like the threat of death, you know. So she needed to find a
You
way
know.
to discredit the stories that had come before. She needed to win back the public's affections, reactivate some nostalgia for the spooky stories of their childhoods. She needed a game. Multiple games, in fact.
They lied to us. They lied to all of us. They told us
The
that
governments.
the whole point of this VR game was to undo the bad PR done by a rogue indie game developer. But that's not true at all. Those indie games were designed to conceal and make light of what happened. This isn't just an attempt
So
to
are
be
these
grand.
canon?
It's
Like the
an elaborate-
VR and everything? Is that canon?
The games are canon?
AR and VR are canon.
What?
They're canon to Security Breach and everything else. They're like PR moves. That's crazy. I didn't know that. That's nuts.
so much sense, but also doesn't at the same time.
Matt, Pat, you gotta keep going, man. We need them.
Matt,
Struggling
Pat, keep
game
cooking.
Developers were a dime a dozen online, most working on their magnum opus between shifts at the Dollar
Their
General.
CD
so
player?
she found one. Steve just picked him out of obscurity. The right mix
Is that
of
a real
desperate
man?
doofus willing to say and do anything. For
Wait,
a
or is that
collector
the
buck.
security
He
guy?
fell right
I
in
think that's
line,
Scott Cawthon.
as expected, delivering stupid little things with dumb
It's the
characters
guy.
like Mangle's Quest, Balloon Boy's Air Adventure, Five Nights at Freddy's. Bad gameplay with even worse graphics, but hey, they got the job
Wait,
done.
they're all
Suddenly
canon?
Talking about the clues inside.
What?
Wait.
back.
Whoa. whoa.
Mangle's
Or,
Quest.
or is it only
Balloon Boy,
these?
No, hold on,
delivering stupid little things with dumb generic names like
Uh-huh.
Mangle's Quest, Balloon Boy's Air Adventure, Five Nights at Freddy's. Bad gameplay with even worse graphics, but hey, they got the job done. People were suddenly talking about the clues inside of these things, searching for the hidden lore. They were actively making jokes
What?
about dead kids at pizzerias. Her husband's twisted
What?
history of
What?
serial murder
What?
had suddenly been reduced to
What?
a mere Nancy Drew mystery to be solved. The plan had worked. Freddy Fazbear's was suddenly more popular than ever. Things were going shockingly
Okay. Let's chill for a second. I need to wrap my head around this.
So, all of the games that have come out.
Yes. So
that
they're all canon.
That criminalize her family.
But that makes no sense. Which ones are canon? Is FNAF 6 canon, where they literally murder him at the end? Like what? Okay, so it's FNAF 1 then.
Okay, is a good chance. Who was Security Breach made by? Or no, Sister Location made by? Aren't they made by different companies or something?
Made by the same person. The only one that was made by a different was after the 6th game. So all these were made by the
new company.
Yeah, new companies were added in because he said he didn't trust new companies. Then after he did Ultimate Custom Night, this is in the era of all the new companies.
Okay. Okay, so
what?
All of the arcade style games and the first game.
I see. Okay, I see why he says people are gonna hate this. I see why. The grieving mother is making light of her own family's death.
Well, no, the people online or people.
Yeah, but she made the games.
Okay. Not only did she make the games, she made the games incriminating her family.
Yeah. What? That's crazy. That's wild. What? Hold on.
Takeover and reboot of the franchise was full and complete. Suddenly infused with cash, she built the largest, most ambitious project yet. The Mega Pizza
She
Plex.
is
William
Scott,
had always been so
man,
visionary.
Co-
always thought so
Kaufman.
small scale. He was careful to a fault. Not her, though. She knew that this latest project needed to be big. It needed to be flashy. It needed to be a palace for children.
Yeah.
A place that got people talking and
palace for
checking out the
children.
latest in Fazbear products. So with
Okay.
a steady supply of remnant flowing in, it was finally time. The stage was set. It was time to get to her real goal, literally rebuilding a family.
Okay. Now, is this canon?
March 2035. The first
What?
was obvious. Crying check.
2035. When do we jump?
I guess no. I guess this is years after.
This is the future. Imagine when.
I guess it makes sense that she needed all the money to make that retro of a place.
I can't wait for 2035 when I can. Oh, scroll down. I can't wait for 2035 when I can think this happened that year.
Yep.
It's like, you know, when in like 2019, I think it was 2019 when the year that Back to the Future went to.
2015.
2015, yes. They went to 2015. It's like that, but FNAF.
We're gonna do like a YouTube video. We're gonna be old as shit. We're gonna be like, what, 2035? So we'll be like, what?
30.
30 something?
32, 33, 34.
God damn. Yeah, we're gonna come back and do more of that.
Yeah. We're gonna have like arthritis.
Everywhere. I already have it in my knees.
We're just gonna be stoned men who can't
She'd seen
move.
down in his bunker that William had gotten very close to replicating artificial human striped shirt, even down to small details that no one would notice, like the band-aid on his left knee. William's
What?
research had even found ways of making animatronics that could bleed and process food, making
What?
them virtually indistinguishable from a typical human. He would never have
Okay.
any idea of what he actually was unless he was explicitly told. The only things that could
Well, this,
possibly
like,
ruin the
Ex
illusion were
Machina
any
type things.
overrides to
Have
his
you seen that
internal
movie?
systems. If something were to
Ex
say
Machina?
interfere
No.
with the cameras that he had in his eyes,
good movie.
or cause some sort of a core reboot to his
got
hard
a
drive, or X-ray his metallic bones,
Oscar
then yeah,
Isaac
he
in
would
it.
be exposed. But otherwise, to the outside world, he was just your
Wait, the
typical
kid is a
human
robot?
boy. She worked down in the bowels of the Pizzaplex, giving him life. But it was one thing to build him, it was another to help him remember his identity. He died so young, so early
she
in their
rebuilt
history
her
that there was no preserved
kid.
memories.
He's the crying
no
child?
documentation that she could just download into his digital
Gregory.
brain. So bit by bit, she trained him, forcing him to remember who he was. In a corner of the room, she even made a makeshift dinner table, a reminder of their happier days. The family recreated 2 brothers, a sister, a father,
Well, he
and
got
a
no
mother
head.
at the head of the table. The one in charge, the one in command, the one bringing all of this to fruition. But his progress was admittedly slower than she would have liked. At first, he could only communicate through simple ones and zeros, then rudimentary drawings and crude letters. But bit by
Yum.
bit, images of his past life started to come through. Balloons, colors, houses, bears and faces, birthday parties. All for me. Gregory was alive. As the robot boy embraced her, she felt a warmth that she hadn't in decades. This was the joy that she'd been working towards. This was what it was all for. Her son, back in her arms again.
I envy you for not already knowing that Gregory is a robot theory. Oh, I didn't know that. I just played half of the.
I wish we would have played Security Breach because now I don't want to know that. God damn it.
Oh. I remember we rage quit at the maze thing with the Moon Sun Man.
You gotta play the rest of
Maybe that's why Frederick the bear is so nice to him.
And that's why he's able to go inside, and he can go inside. Remember when the, what's it called, William's daughter got yanked by that fucking machine?
Yes.
So now they fixed that so that can't happen again.
So it's like Transformers. Like they transform while the human's inside, but they make a little cavity.
Yes.
They don't want to crush them. The daycare.
Yeah, the daycare.
What's that?
That's where the lights were. That maze. You know, where
Yes! Daycare with the Sun and Moon Man. Me, you, Marty, and Sam
all
spent like
played it.
7 tries.
And we
getting
lost
that
all the
maze.
footage. Remember that?
Yeah, we did.
All the footage got lost right afterwards.
We did.
I was so mad. That was so stupid.
That was a bummer.
We got to replay it. We'll replay Security Breach and the VR.
Put together, she would need him. And she knew exactly where he was, in the ruins of that old Freddy Fazbear's pizza place where Henry had trapped him. In fact, that's specifically why she insisted on building the Pizzaplex there over the sinkhole. It's the best place to hide what her true intentions were with the entire operation. Digging through the wreckage, she found him. He was right where she thought he'd be. Seeing the putrid shell of the spring
He's like a
suit, though,
raisin.
was not something she was prepared for. The rotting corpse of William Afton was disgusting. Scorched flesh fused into the fur lining. Hollow black
Medium
sockets
well.
where eyes once were. A smell that reeked of burned carbon and bloody iron. He was no longer flesh. He was just the tangled sinews of a creature that was once called human. How far this brilliant man had fallen. It was clear that her work was cut out for her on this one. Afton
Talking like
was
Darth
practically
Vader.
lifeless. The man may not have been able to die, but he was about as close as you could come. His body would need a lot of reconstruction. Replacement arms and endoskeleton reinforcements were the top priority. Maybe pulled from their new line of glam rock animatronics. She'd have to see if they had any spare Bonnie parts lying around that they could steal. In the meantime, though, she threw the husk that was once her husband into a life support pod infused with aerosolized remnant to help keep him stable. But more important than recovering his body was recovering his mind. In his current state, he was comatose, an empty shell. Severe brain damage starts at temperatures over 108 degrees Fahrenheit. 42 degrees Celsius, and years of repeated fires had burned his brain to goo. Gone was the brilliant, frustrating mind that had drawn her to him in the first place.
But he doesn't have a
But
brain,
she
he
had
has a
plan.
circuit brain.
Unlike her darling boy Gregory, Afton had found ways to record his consciousness.
Okay.
Fundamentally, the brain is only a series of electrical connections after all, so why couldn't you replicate that in the form of a standard circuit board? In essence, you could create a digital consciousness. And one thing she knew about William, he was nothing if not cautious. A planner. Someone who had backup plans to his backup plans. And sure enough, there
All
it
right,
was,
Tony
buried
Stark.
in piles of old animatronics.
Why does the wall
CPUs,
look like
a
it's made of
record
flesh?
Afton himself. But she needed someone to test it.
Someone was definitely here during the night. It had to have been the client. I mean, they sent us that stuff in the first place with no explanation, told us
Well, what
to
game is
scan
this?
it, said it would expedite the
Security
process so we
Breach.
wouldn't need to program any pathfinding ourselves.
Unlike the other games that she'd paid to have made in the past,
No,
this
VR.
one had a different purpose.
Okay.
This wasn't about PR, it was about getting William back up and running, spreading his virus to the masses.
You acknowledge that Fazbear Entertainment
This
is not
is Scary
responsible
This is the
for
VR.
accidental
No, he's
digital
VR.
consciousness
The way it's
transfer.
moving. Corbin.
Real-world manifestations of digital characters.
She hired a new developer, Silver Parasol Games, to scan the boards and bring her husband into the system. And because of the immersive nature of VR, William's consciousness would be able to merge with the player, giving him a new body, a new agency.
What?
There was just one complication.
That's not how VR
Afton's
works.
hold wasn't as powerful as she had hoped. He wasn't able to gain complete control. The first trial
Hype
run,
for
Jeremy
Matthew
was so
Lillard as
desperate to
William.
escape from his grasp that he sliced his own face off with a paper shredder. Messy. Afton's followers were reluctant, to say the least. But it was the second attempt that looked like it had the potential to kill two birds with one stone. Enter Vanessa. Mrs. Afton wanted a surrogate daughter.
That's
Her
Vanessa's,
darling Elizabeth would have been a young woman at this time.
New daughter?
No,
Clara wanted someone who wasn't Elizabeth, but could be
Stepdaughter?
just like her. Could she have just
Whoa,
rebuilt her
hold
like
on.
Gregory?
Okay.
Sure, but
what?
she decided against
I need to listen to that again. What?
were reluctant, to say the least. But it was the
Hello.
second attempt that looked like it had the potential to kill two birds with one stone. Enter Vanessa. Mrs. Afton wanted a surrogate daughter. Her darling Elizabeth would have been a young woman at this point if she had lived. And Clara wanted someone who wasn't Elizabeth, but could be just like her. Could she have just rebuilt her like Gregory? Sure, but she decided against it because she wanted an actual human mother-daughter connection. Well, that, and it would be redundant and narratively unsatisfying to have two robot kids in the same family. What could she say? William had put a lot of tools on the table for her to use, and she was planning on using them all. Plus, Elizabeth had always been so loyal to Daddy. It was time to give her a second chance.
Please don't say that.
And Vanessa seemed to be the perfect candidate to fill
Wait,
the
so
role.
who is
Your
this?
dad's name was Bill. Your dad didn't play
Officer
fair,
Vanessa?
did
Is
he?
that a thing?
I guess it's just somebody she just hired. I guess.
Wait, Officer Vanessa. I've seen. There's a woman in the new movie, right? Is that Officer Vanessa?
If we're going back, no, because William's still alive.
Your mum looked bad in court. He manipulated you. I know your mum. After she lost the custody case.
I was supposed to be a good girl.
She started as a QA tester at Silver Parasol Games, a VR game development company
Oh,
that was part
okay.
of her plan to bring back William. But more importantly, Vanessa checked all the correct boxes. Right age, blonde, green eyes, with a fondness for flowers and the outdoors. In many ways, it was her daughter all over again. Except it wasn't just looks and personality. What really mattered was Vanessa's mind. Underconfident, coming from a broken home, motherless, able to be manipulated. Yes, she would do nicely. She would be the one to save dear old Daddy, just as the real Elizabeth would have wanted.
I will make you proud, Daddy.
While testing
Stop
the VR
saying
game,
that.
William's digital consciousness merged with Vanessa. Oh sure, she fought, fragmenting Afton's code into a series of tapes hidden across the game, trying to do web searches to regain control over her life, but it wasn't enough. She was weaker than Jeremy. She was a thrall that, despite occasional moments of lucidity, had to obey. And with Vanessa,
Freddy, you're supposed to be on lockdown.
That's
That's from security. That's from that's from Security Breach. I remember that scene. Okay, Vanessa worked at
it was
that.
a 2-for-1 deal. She was
the
getting
child
her daughter
palace.
back while
What was that
also
called?
bringing her husband one
Daycare.
step closer
Oh,
to
no.
reactivation. She just had to make sure that Vanessa was headed the right way. The reborn Gregory was an expert hacker, part of the benefits of being
Oh,
an
dude,
Afton and a
legit. Hell yeah.
You expert hacker or hacking. I mean, it makes sense because he's a robot.
Yeah. I'd say. Shit.
I'd hack if I was a robot.
Oh hell yeah.
Me with that new Elon Musk chip,
I framed so many people.
I'd be. Okay. I'd ruin so many careers.
I ruined so many marriages.
So Clara had him keeping tabs on Vanessa, hacking into her emails and trailing her therapy sessions to ensure the future Elizabeth was falling in line. If any of the therapists started to ask too many questions, they were promptly dismissed from their positions. And while Gregory kept tabs on Vanessa's personal life, Mrs. Afton made sure to clear a path for her professionally. With Silver Parasol's collapse at the hands of the Anomaly, she then had the possessed Vanessa
The
board
Anomaly?
the contaminated
Like a black hole?
I don't.
Do they explain?
They might. There's a lot. There's still a lot here.
Circuit
We're
test,
only halfway
DLC
through.
Yeah.
And the Fazbear Funtime service. More glitches, more Remnant, more Afton. But it was her last move that was the best. In a true masterpiece of poetry, she brought Vanessa over to be Chief Security Officer at the Pizza Place. A true family tradition to don the hat and badge. And all it took was a recommendation from the top as well as some emails marked for deletion. Sure, Vanessa didn't have relevant experience for the job, but when it comes directly from the CEO, does it really matter? Husband, son, daughter. A corpse, a robot, a human. All that was left was Michael.
Okay.
Poor, troubled Michael. The boy that killed her youngest. The one that would spend years trying to make his guilty conscience right again. A self-professed protector. While she knew she needed him to complete the family, something told her that the problem had already solved itself. Something had shifted when using Glamrock Freddy to excavate the buried pizza place.
I have been here before. I found myself for the first time when I cleared the path. I have changed. My friends are here, but I can protect you. I am not me.
Maybe it was the remnant that had coursed through Michael's veins. Maybe it was the spirit of Michael living on as a protector. But he was there, somewhere inside of Glamrock Freddy. She could feel it. And just like that, she'd won. She'd done it. Sure, there were still some kinks to work out, some final brainwashing of Vanessa, some rehabilitation of William, but they were there. Finally, all together again under one roof. The Aftons reunited. A happy ending. And that's how it could have ended. That's how it should have ended, had it not been for a few unanticipated developments. For one, something was just wrong with the Pizzaplex.
Another
Almost
plot
as if the
twist?
entire building was haunted, possessed.
Well, I
Puppet
mean,
plushies hiding on
when your
ceilings,
walls look like they're made of
places
flesh.
that they had no earthly way of belonging. Staff bots with greasy tears down their eyes, acting like they were being puppeteered by some sort of a nightmare. Even their sounds had the echo of nightmares long past. It was as though a guardian
What game is
spirit
that
of the
in?
past
Security
refused to
breach?
move on.
I
As long
guess.
as her husband was around, it too would linger. Only now, it wasn't just in one body, but it was in the essence of the building itself. She had seen stories of houses
It's in the
built on
walls.
burial grounds getting possessed by angry
Goddamn
spirits,
walls.
but she'd never assumed that it could be real. Then again, in a world of living spirit metal and mind-controlling glitches, who was she to be so judgmental? The whole thing was ridiculous. Why would this be the line that she refused to cross? After all, the Pizzaplex was built over the burial ground of angry spirits, but it was the power cords that finally convinced her that something was wrong. Suddenly, these cords were striped black and white, like the security puppet from generations ago. The very foundations of this place, the materials and wires that constituted it, were rebelling against her, against the Aftons, against the quest to bring them all together again. And it was being helped by something else, something slithering through the building. Maybe they were connected, she couldn't be sure, but a blob
Slenderman.
of living wires could be heard oozing through the walls, stealing pieces and parts of the old animatronics showcased in Rockstar Row. She could only
Venom.
assume that it was a byproduct of all the remnant they'd been collecting. From Afton's testing, she knew that both light and dark remnant existed, one of positive emotions and the other created from anguish, anger, agony. Perhaps this thing was an amalgamation of all the darkest parts of the pizzeria's history, a collection of the hatred still housed inside these defunct endoskeletons and exosuits. As long as it was left alone, it seemed to be harmless. But if any Afton outside of Michael got too close, it would lash out wildly. Even young Gregory, looking to punish the family that had been complicit in its horrible creation. Little did she know, though, that Gregory should have been her biggest concern, that bringing the family together would have some unforeseen consequences. Gregory was normally the goodest of boys. She had literally built
The
him
goodest
up.
of
Lately,
boys.
he was
Yeah, yeah.
disappearing more and more often, disobeying her orders. Requests. She knew that he loved playing on the arcade machines once the Pizzaplex closed, being so good as to top the leaderboard on practically all of them. But lately, he was nowhere to be found. She suspected his absence had to do with Glamrock Freddy's failed performance the other night.
Yeah.
He malfunctioned live on stage,
he
almost
did?
as though the core programming of Freddy responded to seeing this rebuilt small boy. Almost like it awakened something inside of him. She'd have to make sure that Vanessa was on the lookout for him, but she'd soon come to learn that Vanessa wasn't enough. Whether it was the influence of the nightmare puppet or a reawakened hatred of animatronics seated deep in Gregory's code, something had caused him to rebel, to rip apart each animatronic in the Pizzaplex. Bit by bit, this boy was tearing down the empire that she'd so painstakingly built, freeing Vanessa from her mind control, destroying the remains of Afton in the basement, setting Glamrock Freddy loose. As her carefully created world crumbled around her one more time, she began to plot her revenge. She would have to bring them all to ruin. And there you have it, my friends, nearly a decade in the making, my Fnaf timeline for where the franchise is here in 2023, the year of Fazbear Frights, by the way. As always, it wouldn't be right for me to finish without going over some of the more controversial takes that I just handed out. I think we can all agree that
we're going
this
over the
part of timeline
controversial
was
takes
the
now.
hardest.
So
So
he
let me just
didn't
break
talk about
down some of the
Ruin.
major points.
What's
First of
that?
all,
That's
the
the newest
biggest
one.
swing of this episode,
Really?
and
Ruin's like a
obviously the one
DLC
that
for
everything
Security
else rests
Breach.
upon.
Oh, that must be when she Oh, he said to ruin earlier.
Yeah, so that's what. So probably Ruin didn't come out at this
Mrs.
point.
Afton being the
Ruin
CEO
Joseph
of
really
Fazbear
new.
Entertainment.
So that's what we got to play for
LLC.
Security Breach
Here's
and
why I
Ruin.
went with this route.
We got to do
Now, first and
VR,
foremost,
Security
the
Breach
head
and
of
Ruin.
Fazbear Entertainment is the single biggest mystery that we're meant to solve at this point in the lore. The Ultimate Guide brings it up repeatedly.
The
Who's
Ultimate
running
Guide.
the show? Who is okaying these decisions? And in the Security Breach memos, we get multiple mentions of someone manipulating things from the top down. Whoever this is, they are the person driving forward
the
every
woman.
other facet of late-stage FNAF lore here. They're the
Late
puppet master who's
stage
hiring the
FNAF
indie
lore.
guy.
They're talking about like it's cancer. I'm suffering from late stage FNAF lore.
Dude, I suffer from that for a lot.
I'm putting that on a t-shirt.
Oh, I'm gonna tattoo it on my chest.
Late stage FNAF lore.
Relaunching the brand.
That
Building
pet
the
never
Pizzaplex over the
changed.
burial ground. So
I'm gonna get, like,
everything at
tattooed
the end
on
of the
my back.
timeline relies
Yeah.
on this
I was
one
gonna see it at the
singular
beach.
answer.
With,
Now,
like,
as
the
I
whole,
see it,
like,
there are
FNAF
two
crew,
possibilities
like,
here.
with the mics
One,
and
an adult
guitars.
robot Elizabeth, like we see older versions of robot kids in the fourth closet, or Mrs. Afton.
The
Could it be
fourth
someone
closet.
completely new to the franchise? Absolutely yes, but in a game with so many returning faces and repeated themes, it would be pretty random and arbitrary. So, between these two girl bosses, who then would it be? Well, Elizabeth always wants to please her daddy, so she'd be most likely
Stop saying
wanting to
that.
bring him to life. But then, what's Vanessa's role in all of this? Vanessa is clearly meant to be a parallel for Elizabeth. Same hair, same eyes, similar backstories, but if the main goal is getting the Afton family back together, which seems to clearly be the case in Security Breach, then there's no need for Vanessa to be involved at all. We already have Elizabeth running the show. It would also mean that we suddenly have two robot kids running around, which feels narratively repetitive and quite frankly kind of dumb. Now look at Mrs. Afton. We know next to nothing about her outside of any clues that we can get from Immortal and the Restless and Bellora's song. But what her being head of Fazbear does is make every other piece of the lore fit. Suddenly, you can have one of every other type of character. One robot kid in Gregory, one brainwashed human in Elizabeth/Vanessa,
Okay.
one OG corpse in William, and one possessed animatronic
OG
in
corpse.
Mike. Narratively,
OG
it makes
corpse,
everything
what
else
up?
I'm gonna
clear.
reuse my
Legally,
rap
it's
name.
also
I'm
the
gonna
option that
make
makes
that my
sense
Call of
as I
Duty
call out my
gamer
heritage
tag.
and we have some stage
Yo,
corpse, what up?
OG corpse on the mic.
So as
Hey, yo,
Fazbear folds as a
I was
company,
there.
I suspect
Yo,
a
no,
lot of
no,
it
we're gonna
will
win
return
next. I'm
back
gonna call
to
myself OG corpse.
OG corpse.
But there was one clue that really sold me on this particular direction, and that was this right here in the post-it room, the big lore central of Security Breach,
This
a
dirt
dinner
mound?
table scene with the
Oh.
whole family, including the mother. And not only is she there, she is at the head of that table, the position of highest honor and responsibility.
Okay.
She is the one in charge, with William being relegated off to the side. That one scene shows that we have to include Mom in there somewhere, and the only place it makes sense for her to be is at the top. Now, there is one big dilemma with my
Okay.
interpretation of all this. The Ultimate Guide really seems to point out that the head of Fazbear doesn't want the glitch trap virus to spread. They call out one particular email in FNAF AR where the legal team calls a cease and desist to all action about scanning the circuit boards. And even in
Okay.
FNAF VR, we're told that the circuit boards get stolen back by the
Shit, I'm
client,
down with
presumably
that.
once they realize what danger is on there, trying to stop glitch trap before he spreads and gets out of hand. Here's the problem with that though: if the head of Fazbear doesn't want Afton to rise again, why'd they restart the company in the first place? Why'd they build over the FNAF 6 pizzeria? Why'd they go through an
Money.
elaborate cover-up to make possessed
Money.
Vanessa an important
Yup.
part of the company? Just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It would be the most inconsistent series of actions ever, but I did want to call attention to it since it seems to be the route that the official guide is trying to steer us towards. Moving on
Well,
to
money.
minor point number
Free
one,
property.
Five Nights at Freddy's games
Money.
were made by the
Money.
Rogue
Money.
indie developer.
Money.
Here's the thing, FNAF VR
Money.
opens with this line.
That's
Money.
why we have recreated many of these completely fictitious scenarios, lies that you've been fed over the last several years into a hilarious VR game.
It's recreating
What?
the lies told to you by the
Dude,
indie
I'm
developer.
so
And since
excited for
Help
this VR
Wanted
game.
have direct
Okay.
recreations of FNAFs 1 through 3, it means the games
Okay.
must be part of the fabrications that this developer made up.
Wait. So all three of these are canon.
No, they're no,
As
no, 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 no,
videos.
no, 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 no way, no way, no way. I need to hear that again.
Steer
Hold
us
on.
towards. Moving on
Just
to
listen.
minor point number one, the Five Nights at Freddy's games were made by the Rogue indie developer. Here's the thing, FNAF VR opens with this line.
That's why we have recreated many of these completely fictitious scenarios, lies that you've been fed over the last several years.
And so that's why
into
the mom-
a hilarious VR game.
Wait.
It's recreating
and
the
then?
lies told to you by the indie developer. And since Help Wanted has direct recreations of FNAFs 1 through 3, it means the games must be part of the fabrications that this developer made up. Also,
So all three of these games are canon as video games in the universe.
What the fuck is happening?
I don't know.
What is happening?
I don't
What
know.
is going on? Bro, they should have just...
I would have been like, okay, I am okay with it if it's like the VR game and the AR game.
I was under the impression that this was
the
a
other one.
reboot. Like, that's what I thought this all was.
Well, I guess it is a reboot.
But technically...
But it's still saying that these 3 games are not canon. Or they're canon, but just video games.
I guess. I don't know. Maybe it happened and she's making... I don't.
Oh, all of this is heavily implied
Okay.
in the story of the same
We're in the
name.
end game now.
We are in the end game now.
Fnaf 1 through 3, canon games within the lore of the series. Big
Okay.
swing number 2, the elephant, or ghost in the room, Charlie infecting the Pizzaplex. John from the channel Fnaf has made some great findings about Charlie's influence over the Pizzaplex. The cables that looked like the striped arms of the puppet, the Nightmarion plushies that you find hidden across the Pizzaplex in weird places, the staff bots with creepy smiles and in your dreams written on the front. All of these things scream puppet. Plus, the puppet mask not having tears in the blob seems to imply that Charlie's spirit exists elsewhere. She is still in play, and she has an important role, especially in Gregory's post-it room. The doors to the post-it room in the game's code are called Charlie doors, and inside we see a bunch of lit-up nightmare staff bot heads. Suspicious, to say the least. The channel ID Fantasy did a great theory looking at the post-it notes, concluding that the crying child / Gregory isn't alone in this room, but rather might be communicating with someone. A spirit, Charlie. Charlie's spirit seems to have pulled a poltergeist. Instead of controlling one thing, she's affecting a lot of little details, foundational elements of the Pizzaplex.
Is that why
and this
Michael
isn't the
is
first
in
time that
the
we've seen this in the
fucking zoo?
franchise either. We've seen
I guess.
spirits communicating with people through physical writing in the survival logbook. So we know that this is an established means of spirit communication within this franchise. And I suspect that to some extent it might be Charlie's influence making Gregory go haywire. Which brings me then to my final and probably biggest controversy in recent FNAF history, Gregory as Patient 46, the evil robot mastermind.
Okay.
Now, I know when I first came out with this
What's
theory a
Patient
year
46?
ago, people were mad. But here's the thing, you don't have to take my evidence
I don't
points
know
for
if
it
that's
anymore.
security
The
breach,
recent
no.
Tales from the Pizzaplex story, GGY, basically goes and just outright proves it. In GGY, we find out about a boy named Gregory who's getting all the high scores in the Pizzaplex arcade machines.
He's
When
gaming.
therapists start to go missing, it's confirmed that GGY is the one that's working to bump him off. And when animatronics start getting corrupted by a mysterious glitch, GGY's letters are found inside the code.
Gregory.
He even chooses the code name Dr. Rabbit, for crying out loud. But obviously,
I don't
by
know
the
what
time of
that is
security
either.
breach, Gregory is working against Burn Trap, Vanessa, and the animatronics. Why? How? Well, it's not really clear. I tend to believe that something must have happened to cause him to either lose his memory or be reset in some way. Maybe it was Charlie talking to him in his post-it room. Maybe he hit his head. Maybe it was the connection that he made with Mike on stage in Glamrock Freddy.
Could be a
Not
mixture.
exactly sure, and I don't think we have enough clues to solve any of it yet. But it makes sense from a story perspective why he'd start off evil on Afton's side and then switch to trying to destroy him and not knowing who he is in Security Breach. And with that, my
Okay.
friends, I'm wrapping this thing up.
Afton's in
Congratulations,
Security
we are on
Breach.
page 40. 22,000 words of FNAF, baby.
Wait,
Practically
Afton's
just
in Security Breach?
What?
I thought it ended with FNAF 6, with Henry burning down the place.
Yeah, I do like that ending.
I think that was his original intention. Like when I heard him in an interview, he said that was his original intention to end the game there.
Because everything after that point is kind of like...
The Security Breach, VR,
Whatever.
and everything like that. And it wrapped up some story problems and stuff like that because there was a lot of story problems that were happening.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
people were picking stuff out and that weren't making sense. So he fixed things. Like he outright said who the puppet was and stuff like that because that was always a mystery at that time. So yeah, I don't know.
Oh, so this isn't a fight? This is fake? Apparently. Chat, this fight is fake.
Damn it.
Can't have nothing nice. I do like... I will still think that it's real and that they were fighting over fan theories.
It's my canon.
It's my canon. Well, chat, that was... FNAF lore. Did we understand... I should look over here. Actually, I'll just drag this over here. Did we understand any of it?
No.
No. I kind of was there until, like, 6, and then everything after, I was like, okay, you lost me. Like, everything with Security Breach,
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on. It's 4:52, we gotta leave soon.
Yep. That's what I was gonna shoes on.
We're gonna go see the movie. We might stream watching other FNAF theories as well. Has your brains been thoroughly turned into goo? Kind of, yeah. We're like the goo that the people turned into in the animatronics. It was the third video that
No, they lost me when we started getting into Security Breach.
yeah,
That's when they lost.
the third and fourth broke me.
So they didn't really spoil anything for Security Breach, so it'll still be kind of like
Yeah.
we won't be able. Like,
We know that Gregory is a robot, but apparently that's still a theory. A game theory.
Actually, yeah.
And Rune is supposed to canonize that if it's good. It is so complicated, there's no way it will all be in the movie. Oh, of course.
No, I think Scott Cawthon even said in an interview like a few years before the movie came out. Around when Custom Night came out, he said he wanted to just try to make a trilogy, which is just going to capitalize like
you can make a trilogy out of this.
Like the what's it called? Those first 6 games.
Yeah.
He said he wanted to make a trilogy out of those. So, but he said he doesn't plan on it. But he said if it does well and everyone likes it, he'll do it.
Oh yeah, I'd be down for a trilogy, even if it's like bad. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, I could definitely see like everyone who has talked about the Fnaf movie recently saying like adults saying like
oh, this is gonna be like a.
This is for.
This is like a slasher type movie.
What, as soon as they say like I know nothing about the games and review, I'm like, oh, then this is gonna be really weird to you.
Yeah.
Like unless you have the game theory context, all the game context, it's really weird. Everyone who says they enjoyed it is one who played the games.
Yeah.
So I can see why to some people it's gonna look really weird.